The show must
Still
go on,
shows
man.
up.
The show must go on.
We've all podcasted at some point sick. Trust me. We've all done that.
Yeah, we're good. Let me just make sure this is working.
Poor guy. I mean, he's old on top of all that, you know.
Oh, I got the wrong.
I mean, his body just can't keep up with it anymore.
Got the wrong stupid. I'm on the wrong account. See, I'm telling you, man. You guys are going to have to hold me up tonight. You're going to have to help me. You have to hold me up.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell? Oh, I guess there's all right. We are running behind. I'm sorry, guys. I'm got a major sinus infection today, and I woke up dizzy as hell, just bumping into walls, falling over. Felt like I was drunk, but I wasn't drunk. How's everybody doing tonight? You can tell my voice is a little hoarse too. Not because I coughed or anything. It's just weird, some kind of bug I got. But JD Kent, hello. How you doing? I see you there. Let's see. How's our volumes, guys? You guys want to say something? Everybody can hear you?
I'm good. Can everybody hear me?
I think I'm good. Let me know if I'm not.
Yeah, that mic sounds really good. That ATR 2100, I think I give you the 2500. They're all pretty much the same. But yeah. All right. I should have a good show tonight. Okay. Let me just make sure you guys can hear this. Shh. Movie review. Could you guys hear that?
I heard movie review. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sound like your voice right now.
All right, I get it. Okay.
No, we can hear it. It's good.
All right, good. All right, good. All right, let's do a podcast. Here we go. What button do I press? It's only 5 million in front of me. You know what? You guys want to hear the beginning of the show? The show beginning? Let's do the intro. Here we go. You ever wonder what makes a great gamer? Whether you just started or have been enjoying video games all your life, great gaming is not only about cheering on our teammates, but also being there to pick us up when we're down.
Guardian down.
This hobby is a part of our life, and whatever we decide to play, let's all remember to be good to each other. We're a Destiny 2 podcast that focuses on 3 things: promoting a positive gaming community, sharing news around the industry and Destiny 2, and discussing thought-provoking topics in the game. We're Guarding Down Cast. Your stories, your community, your destiny. Love that part. What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 304 of Guardian Downcast. I'm your host, Todd the Gator, and I'm a Day One Guardian who loves gaming and especially the Destiny franchise. We're the podcast that's all about your stories, your community, and your destiny. This week, my co-host, Kingsley Mack, is off this week, but someone you might know is back to fill in for him. My other co-host from the great state of North Carolina, Mr. RNG Gator, is here. How you doing, chat? How you been, man?
I'm good. Doing great. Been
Excellent.
busy.
Yeah, I heard you had a busy day. Yeah, we'll get into that. That's for sure. As this is our monthly guest episode, we have a brand new guest of the show with us tonight. He's been a longtime member of our community, over 4 years now, and he's also been a patron supporter. He's just been a real big supporter of our podcast. And somehow, all those years, I never asked him to be on the show. I felt really bad, so I'm sorry about that, man. But, I just forgot. You have so many shows, you try to put shows together and just things happen. But I'm elated he was able to make it tonight, and I can't wait to hear more about him. So please give a big GDC welcome to Grackle. How you doing, sir?
Thanks, Gator. Now that I'm on the show, I can finally remove the grudge right here that I'm holding. You're now released from it. We're back to zero.
There you go. No, you're good. You're good.
No, it was a real honor to be asked. So happy to be here with you.
Thank you, man. That's awesome. Where's the podcast find you tonight?
I am, I guess, not probably too far away from RNG Gator. I'm in Central Virginia.
Okay, Central Virginia. Okay, very nice. Very nice. Well, for those of you who may have just discovered our podcast, we are a weekly gaming show with an emphasis on the Destiny franchise, and we like to sprinkle in, some entertainment and other topics of discussion relating to our hobby as well from time to time. But we have been producing audio episodes for nearly 6 years now. And, as the game has changed, as things have evolved, we have too. So now we have a live show on our YouTube, Twitch, and now our Discord stage channel where you can interact with us live right here on the show. So hopefully everyone will, chime in tonight. If they have a comment on anything they want to add into the conversation, we encourage it. Trust me, we encourage you guys to chime in. So it is a community podcast. So this is a community live stream. So we thank everyone who made it out here tonight. Of course, if you're unable to watch our live show tonight, the replays will be on my Twitch and my YouTube channel. That's Todd the Gator, 2Ds, GATR. And of course, on our great audio episodes, which we've been doing for a long time, you can go to guardiandowncast.com and listen to any of them on whatever you like. In this episode, RNG Gator, Grackle, and I will go over our week and gaming and life. Next, we're going to interview our guest Grackle and find out more about his longtime, being our longtime community member. What I really love about our guest episodes is that I usually discover something that I never really realized, and nearly every guest we've had on this show has shed something new that we never really, found out just gaming alongside them in the game. So it's truly why I love learning more about our members of our community. We will also go over this week's Bungie blog, the TWAB, and highlight any important information as well. And I've already looked it over. It's not a huge TWAB this week, just a few things I want to mention. As we do nearly every week, we'll look to our Discord community for any questions for the show. And hopefully those of you with us live tonight also, like I said, please ask your questions in the chat if you like to. We're going to go over the results and comments of our Guardian Downcast question of the week. It's where I ask a random question every Monday and we share the results live on our show. So if you want to participate in that, the next question of the week, look for it in our channel, in our GDC channel section of channels in our Discord. And if you aren't in our Discord, what the hell? you need to find us. It's Guardian Down discord.gg/Guardian Downcast. And like I said, we even share some of the comments that people put in as well for these questionnaires we do every Monday. Finally, we're going to add some music to our Guardian Downcast show playlist on Spotify and Apple Music. The links are always in our show notes down below if you want to follow along with us. Oh, and I don't think I mentioned this, but Uncle Scumdeath left us a question for the show as well in a voicemail. So we'll find out what that's all about as well. It's shaping up to be another good episode tonight. And hopefully, if my brain doesn't stall, we'll be able to have a good podcast tonight. So if everyone's ready, let's roll. All right. Well, I want to start off. And normally I would interview the guests first, but tonight I want to do it different. I kind of shake it up sometimes. I want to, go around the horn here and see what everyone's been doing this week in gaming and life. And then afterwards we'll get into the nitty gritty with our guest Grackle here. So I'll start with you, Grackle. What have you been doing in gaming? What have you been doing in life? Catch us up, man. What have you been up to?
Gaming wise, and it's been honestly all Baldur's Gate 3 all the time for the past couple of weeks. I picked it up on sale on Steam, and I mean I was skeptical at first. I'm not usually a big sort of turn-based RPG person, but I think it was a game that was made with obvious sort of care and love by people that sort of understood the source material and really had the best interests of the sort of user experience at heart. So I think it's pretty engrossing. So I'm frankly pretty behind in Destiny. I just sort of broke the seal on like Rite of the Nine earlier today. So I'm feeling a little out of sorts with sort of the latest happenings. But yeah,
right. It's okay, man.
Baldur's Gate, and I started my week off in Iowa, actually. It was a quick trip to see my in-laws, like rural southeast Iowa. It's actually where I lived for several years. Ask about that later, I guess. But yeah, we were there Monday and came back Tuesday. So sort of a compressed week so far here at home. But glad that it's not raining because we got a lot of that. And glad that at the moment, as far as I know, all three of my kids are healthy, which has like not been the case for it feels like the past month. So
Yeah.
enjoying that for as long as it lasts.
I hear you, man. It definitely something that's going around. My wife said everyone at school is sick, and I think, like I said, the reason I got sick is because I think I started going to the gym last week, and no one wipes the equipment down, and I'm on these hydro spas where it says to wipe it down after you're done with it, but these old people go in there, they don't care. They just plop off of it and walk out, waddle out the door. And then on the other end, you got the Gen Zs, which no offense, Gen Zs, but you guys are on your phone. You don't even pay attention. So anyway, I think that must be part of the reason we're having so many sickness. I think I was watching Astacross today in the morning, and he even had sinus problems. So I guess it reaches everybody. So yeah. Well, cool deal, man. Baldur's Gate 3, just wanted to ask you a few questions about that because that is a game, me and Kingsley have been talking about this last week. I'm thinking about jumping and starting a new game before, the DLC drops in July for Destiny 2. And Baldur's Gate 3 was right there on my list. I have one other game I want to play as well, but I wanted to hear, for someone who's never played Dungeons and Dragons, is this something I could jump into and easily figure out, or?
Yeah, I think so because I've played Dungeons and Dragons before, but I mean when I say that, like I've done it sort of like a serious sort of playthrough with a group of people once. So I mean not extensive experience. I'm sort of familiar loosely with how it's supposed to go and mechanics and whatnot, but definitely I couldn't sort of tell you a lot about the ins and outs of it. But so I think somebody who kind of came into it with just a little bit of knowledge, the game, I mean, a lot of that happens under the hood. I mean, it really does explain things for you if you really want to know. But if you just want to play the game, I mean, it handles it all for you pretty well and just gives you the output. So you just you can kind of just play and with just as much knowledge as you need. And then if you want to get under the hood, well then kind of you're off to the races. So no, I think it's pretty kind of beginner friendly if you're sort of new to the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I don't think that should put anybody off.
I think someone said it was the what was They said it was like a good entrance game for people who don't, a good introduction to people who've never played, those types of games. But once I heard it was turn based, my ears perked up because I used to play this one game. I played it a ton. My son knows what it is. It was, oh man, this is going to be rough tonight. My mind is just a washed watermelon right now. I did play a type of discovery game. I think it was on PS4. No, I'm sorry, PS3. And there you would have a battle, and all of a sudden it would become a big chessboard where it was turn-based. Is that kind of how this works, Baldur's Gate 3?
Yeah, I think so. I mean,
Okay.
it's sort of like real-time exploration. Then as soon as combat starts,
Yes.
it sort of immediately lines up the pieces, so to speak. So then
Okay.
it sets the sort of the
Okay.
battle order, and then it goes through, and everybody chooses. You have your action, your bonus action, your movement, and then you just
Okay.
you've got, and it's all tactics. And it's all trying to figure out sort of
Yeah.
what to do, where to go, how to position your team. So
Okay.
yeah, it sort of
Yeah.
leans in, leans out as soon as combat's over. Yeah.
Yeah. Dynasty Tactic was another game. My son and I remember we used to play it on a camping trip, and my wife and my daughter got so mad because all we played was we were both so hooked on Dynasty Tactics. I really wish they'd bring it back because I would also play it. Yeah, he mentioned Heroes of Might and Magic: Quest for the Dragonbone Staff. Yeah, it was PlayStation 2. That's how long ago I've been playing turn-based
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
But yeah, I was just curious. You mentioned Baldur's Gate 3. My ears perked up because I have yet to. It's one of the games I'm thinking about streaming on Saturdays, between raids or maybe another night as well. But we'll have to see, I guess. I've been talking with Kingsley. Anything else you want to mention? Any shows you're watching? Movies? Anything? I just want to give you the opportunity.
Shows.
Yeah, so give you the opportunity.
Yeah,
To
the wife and I are watching Ransom Canyon on Netflix, which
okay.
I don't know if I'd recommend it. It's pretty bad.
Ransom Canyon.
But I mean, a good in a watch it with your spouse sort of way. So
Okay.
it's definitely like not it's not like watching Severance, but I just find it frankly a little hilarious because the show sort of, it says that like Austin is a kind of the big city sort of looming in the background of this kind of rural drama.
Mhm.
I'm from Austin. It's where I grew up, born and raised. There's no mountain range anywhere near Austin, so I don't
Magic
know
of movies.
yeah. I can't suspend my disbelief quite that much to not make it sort of comical. But for those who sort of don't know or don't care, and you need something kind of a little trashy and hallmarky,
Okay.
yeah, go for it.
You like that stuff? Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
Well, RNG Gator, I'll turn to you, man. What have you been doing? I know it's been a long time. Catch us up, man. What have you been doing since on the show last, man? I mean, I heard first you had an event today.
I've had an event all week. Monday about 8:30, my business, they shut off network to all the mills, all the steel mills. Like all of a sudden 8:30 I'm doing something online and the screen starts spinning. I'm like, what's going on? I'm next to the equipment. I look at the equipment. I'm like, nothing's down. And I go to my boss's office. He comes out. I'm like, nothing in my office is down. He's like, shit, and because come to find out that there had been an attack, so they shut everything down to isolate it, and pretty much have been without internet at my mill for the past 3 days. We finally got it up today. It took like 3 hours to work with the network team and the firewall team and all that stuff, and we finally got it up, but we still can't get to everything. We're still working on ironing all that out, but we have where people can get back to their stuff again. So, but yeah, it's been quite fun. So I got 2 days to work from home because there was nothing I could do at work. So I had to come home where I had internet, right, so I could actually, help out and test stuff.
Well, I mentioned to the audience that you kind of took a hiatus from the show because you just don't play Destiny anymore, and it's a Destiny podcast, that makes sense. But what have you been playing, man? What have you been jumping into?
Let's see. Where do I start? Crime Scene Cleaner,
Mm.
I've been playing Fortnite. I've been playing Warzone. I've been playing Clara Obscura Expedition 33. Now I'm playing Doom Dark Ages. I've replayed through Borderlands 1. I'm on 2 now. Helldivers here or there. Now that I kind of gave up the addiction of Destiny, I have so much more time to play other games. I just get on and play what I want to, and if friends are playing something, if I want to play it with them, I'll play it with them.
Yeah.
I mean, the game I've been playing most lately is Expedition 33. I've got 48 hours in that game when I look at it on Xbox. So when I click on it, it says time played 2 days exactly.
Oh, okay.
So, I haven't beat the game yet. I'm at the final mission, but I want to level my characters up. I want to get my characters closer to level 50 before I go tackle it. From what I've heard, I'm in the 40s right now. So
what do you said you were playing Doom, the Dark Ages. What do you think of that game, man? Being a brand new game.
I've only started playing it since last night. So
Okay.
I mean, it's very much it's a hack and slash, blow shit up, throw a spinning spear at people, shoot them with stuff, make them explode, shield charge them, make them explode, shoot shit, make it explode. It's just
I played Doom.
It's like Gears of War.
Yeah.
It's just like it's like a Gears of War game.
It's like nonstop.
I love it.
It's like nonstop though.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you shoot and blow something up in in Destiny, and you have a little bit of time to take a breath, and hear some dialogue or something.
No, you better pause the game in this one, because if you don't and you think the room's empty, all of a sudden something spawns and starts shooting you.
It's like a shooter on steroids. It's always been that way. But
I love it.
you mentioned Borderlands 2. Are you going to play 3 too?
Yeah, I got the entire collection on Steam, so
nice.
I'm trying to play through them all before 4 comes out again, just to refresh story wise what's going on in them.
See, that's a game I was thinking about playing before Baldur's Gate was because I started playing it a couple of years ago, and when it came out, and I was having fun playing it. And I understand it's not Borderlands 2. It's not as good as Borderlands 2. Spoiler alert. But I did want to play I did want to play the story. I did want to experience the game, and I just want to make sure that being that I'm definitely going to play Borderlands 4 when it comes out in September. So I figured, you know what? Maybe I should play that game first and then Baldur's Gate 3. I don't know. I got to think about what I need to do. I got a busy month coming up ahead. But
I mean, the hours you're going to have to sink into Baldur's Gate 3. I mean, it's a great game, like your son said, and everything.
Right.
It's a great game, but the hours you're going to sink into it, I know you're wanting to do it before, play it for a while for next DLC. If you're not going into the mindset of beating it before the next DLC, right?
No, I don't care about the DLC
ain't got
stuff.
That type of time.
No, I don't.
Yeah. No, I mean the DLC for Destiny. You're trying to find a game to play before the next stuff for Destiny comes out, is what I'm saying.
I think Borderlands 4 is going to be. No, I'm not concerned with that. But Borderlands 4 is definitely going to be, I think, my B game. When I play Destiny for most of my week, I think Borderlands 4 is going to be my fallback game because it's so similar to Destiny. It's a looter shooter. It has story. I heard they cleaned the cell shading up, so it's going to be a little tighter gameplay. So I'm looking forward to what's coming. But
it's also going to have like designated loot for you now, not one that drops for everybody and everybody rushes to get it. You're going to have your own loot.
Right.
Everybody else playing with you will get their own loot.
Exactly.
So
both, it doesn't matter. I bought both games. I have them in my library. I bought Baldur's Gate 3 on PlayStation 5, and I think I have Borderlands 3 in my PS4 library, which I can bring into my PS5. I can just through the cloud, I can play that. So I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what I want to play next.
It comes out the day after my birthday, so I'm thinking about taking that Friday off because my birthday's on a Thursday.
I got you.
Yeah, about taking some days off there. Now that I got Borderlands 4 is coming out, I will probably. I wasn't going to take the day after my birthday off, but I might now.
Okay. So what else you been doing, man? What else you been doing since we saw you last? You watching any good shows or anything you want to throw out there?
I watched shows. I watched what was the one? Oh my Lord. It was an Apple, I think. No, it was a Hulu show. It was the one where they go into into a mountain to make a
Yes.
city because
Yes.
the world's getting. I can't remember.
I
the
watched
name.
it. I watched it.
There's a death. There's a death, and they got to figure out who did it and why and everything. And there's going to be a second season. And for the life of me, I can't think of the name of it now. And it's
Yeah,
killing me.
it
It has the guy that played Cyclops and X-Men in it, James Marsden.
Yeah,
can't remember what the name of the show is now.
trying to Paradise.
Oh, Paradise.
Yeah, I just found it.
I actually liked it. I thought it was pretty good.
I loved it. I
I've
talked
watched
about
that,
it.
you know.
Yeah.
I've watched my animes. I haven't really watched too many movies. I got a bunch on my list. I just haven't gone to the theater because just didn't want to spend the money and go. And there really wasn't. There was movies coming out, but not ones that were like, I need to go to the theater and see. Even the new like Thunderbolts movie that just came out. I want to see it, but I really don't want to go spend the money at the theater to see it. I don't know why. I just don't want to. Like you say, with the Marvel movies, I've been so jaded by them lately. Besides Deadpool and Wolverine, I'm just kind of like, I can wait for it to come out on streaming and watch it at home. You know, so
I did review Thunderbolts last week because I did see it with my wife, and my wife actually thought it was pretty good too. And that's rare for her to think the.
I mean,
Marvel
I've heard
is
it's good. I've heard it's good. I just don't know if it's good enough for me to. My daughter wants to go see it because she loves Bucky. You know.
Yeah.
She likes the guy that plays Bucky. So they want to go see it. We just ain't had time because my daughter is graduating from high school this weekend. So
wow.
That's
Congrats.
Second of my two kids will be done. So my son graduated from college last year, daughter this year, and she's already been in college because she's been in early college. She's been done with school since like February.
You'll be an empty nester soon, just like I am.
And no, they're not moving out because hell, they can't afford to move out
these days. I know.
Can't afford to rent days. So I'm not in any hurry for them to move out.
Yeah.
So you know,
I hear you, man.
it's fine with me. Just she's got her job. She's working on that. So. You know, she's working on trying to get her. She's going into like sonogram is what she's going into. That type of that field.
Warcry Jeff is his daughter's graduating high school as well. This about this time of year. So yeah, it sneaks up fast, man. It really does. That's for sure.
Like I say, work's been busy. Everything in life's been busy. I feel like. Every time I try to come up for air, it's not there. You know, I'm right back under again. So,
I hear you.
You know, I mean, work's great. I love my job. So,
okay.
But I'm much happier than I was this time last year, work was. I'll be there a year in August of this year. So,
wow, been that long already.
I already love it. It's almost been a year. So,
jeez.
So, but yeah, I mean, other than that, like I said, I've literally uninstalled Destiny from my computer and everything, unfollowed stuff. I still get information about it, but I've kind of just cut myself off from it. And I watched some of the reveal of, because I was at work, it came on while I was at lunch, and I watched some of the reveal of the new stuff coming out in July that you were talking about.
Right.
The next, whatever it was, they called it, was it Fate?
Edge of Fate.
Everything.
Edge of Fate.
Edge of Fate. Yeah, I watched some of that, and I watched what they were saying and about what they were doing. But to me, it just some of the words they use are like, "Yes, we're taking back your." I'm like, this is. I feel like it was regurgitated, like everything they say every time they go out with a new thing. Some of the words, like, "Hey, we're doing this." I don't know how much I was impressed with the whole, like the UI thing changing. I like that you're getting solo and they're all putting in one place, but Lord, we've asked for that for years. You know what I'm saying? So. And you're finally getting to it, but now you get into it after you've lost a lot of your player base. And on top of that, I also feel like they're simplifying the game. They're still making it for the casual, because the people that only have a couple hours to play, and that's great. Yeah. But I would, as somebody who played it as much as I did, I still want that hard aspect. I want that quest where I have to go into Crucible and get void kills, and I can only do it in Crucible. Not, hey, you can do it in Crucible, you can do it in Gambit, you can do it here. It's somebody just finds the easiest way to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And just to, like, as a game, as a gamer, IT person, I'm always going to find that short path to get something done quick, you know. and that's what they're giving people. They're not putting that hard grind on it. Like, I mean, when I got Thorn, I felt accomplished because I did that.
I remember that
You
mission.
know, I missed that stuff in Destiny. I think that still should be there. So,
Yeah, that's a whole different topic that we could definitely go down. That's for sure. But
oh yeah, I feel like they're casual. They're making it more and more casual every time.
Well, let's table that because that's kind of part of our topic of discussion tonight. And I am going to mention Edge of Fate when we get into that. I am curious what more you want to talk about on that. Just real quick for me, entertainment wise, I saw the final the final 3 episodes of Andor. I have to say,
I haven't watched that yet.
No, yeah.
The way it ended,
I've heard it's great.
Oh,
I've heard it's great.
The way it ended, it made me want to immediately pick up and watch Rogue One right afterwards. This
nice.
series blended into the story so masterfully, and I highly recommend watching it. By the way, there will be no season 3, by the way, because this does tie in beautifully into Rogue One. It's
makes sense.
Done really well.
I mean, they had to do that. They had to do that because I mean, this is the same planet that was in Rogue One and everything. If you know the Star Wars lore, it has to eventually tie into the movie somewhere. You know,
Tony Gilroy, he was the showrunner on both Rogue One and or he was the director, I believe, or writer on Rogue One, and he's the showrunner behind this Andor. And oh my God, man, what a great! This series has just been a big win for Disney. I mean, as their recent shows have kind of divided the Star Wars community, like Acolyte. I really didn't like Acolyte. I thought it was kind of dumb. And the last Disney movie, the last Disney Star Wars movie was back in 2017 with The Last Jedi. So, and that created sparks of its own. So Disney kind of had lost a lot of its base Star Wars fans. And I think if anything, Rogue One solidified that they are still sticking to canon, and they're still, I think they brought back a lot of the old timers that watched the Star Wars movies back in the 70s, like I did. But how beautifully it tied right into Rogue One. I mean, it's like you could just turn that series off and turn on Rogue One, and it's just like you never missed a beat. It's like it rolls right into, I mean, even with Saw Gerrera and how Rogue One starts that way, it ends on Saw Gerrera going into the end of Andor. I don't want to spoil too much here, but just really well done, man. And something happens to Deidre. You'll know what I'm talking about once you watch it. Something very, very fitting. There's a little justice there, I thought. I'd love seeing that happen, by the way, because she lived by the rules and she got shackled by the rules. So it's just the way it goes. But I was amazed how the Empire is so well organized. Like some other group in Germany long ago was so organized, kept such good records and stuff. So you can see the parallels between what I'm talking about here. But the irony is just fantastic. The character development, you know so much more about all the characters that would normally in the movies would be in the background. You never even know about them. So again, huge win. And I would think, with Renegades coming out in December, I think Night Demon talked about this in his last episode of Two Titans and a Hunter. He goes, I think the next Mandalorian comes out around that time. So I'm curious what kind of armor we're going to, get in Destiny. You see what I'm saying? When it gets close to Renegades time.
Supposedly, it's what, Mandalorian and Grogu. It's a movie. I thought it was a show, but when you look it up, they talk about it.
It's a spinoff.
Movie. I don't think it's a show.
It's a spinoff movie. Yeah, it is, definitely.
I'm interested to see it. Yeah.
Yep. My wife and I saw almost all the episodes to White Lotus on HBO Max. We have to still watch the final episode. We're going to watch it this week, but it is definitely getting heated. Shit's definitely going to go down. But the movies were thin this week. This is kind of the calm before the storm, before all the summer blockbusters start rolling in. So my wife and I, we opted just to kind of catch up on shows, and there's some really good movies coming in the end of May. And I just wanted to list a few here just in case you guys are looking to see what's ahead. 28 years later, June 20th. That's the follow-up to 28 days later. Same director, same writer. 28 days later.
Yeah, something like
Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Really looking forward to that because I saw part 1 and I really could not wait to see part 2. So that's May 23rd this month. Friendship with Tim Robinson and Paul Rudd. Superman, July 11th. The Life of Chucks comes sometime the end of May. It's Steven Spielberg and Stephen King. I don't know much about that yet. Fantastic Four, of course, been highly publicized. July 25th.
Which movie did you say? Which movie?
The Life of Chuck by Steven Spielberg, and it's from a novella from Stephen King. And F1 with Brad Pitt, June 27th. I'm definitely going to see that. Even though I'm not an F1 fan, I still love racing movies like that. But as far as Destiny this week, it has been light. It has definitely been light, but I did run a Garden of Salvation raid with our community. Allocate, Scarlet KM, Zombie Pops, Squirtle joined us again. And of course, my co-host Kingsley Mack, we all played and had a great time. So I always thank everyone who comes out to those live streams because it's just fun to kind of have a good time playing and also interact with everybody in the stream. I really love doing that. So usually I'll stream something Saturday nights at 10 p.m. And I don't know if it's going to be a raid this week. I might be picking up Borderlands 3. Either that or Baldur's Gate 3. I have to decide which direction I want to go here, but I have to think about what's ahead of us here as far as, stuff. I did play a few hours of the new activity, Heavy Metal, and at first I didn't like it. I thought the vehicle controls were a little bit clunky. The shooting mechanics on each vehicle was a little slow, but once you learn how to lead your shots and time them, I was having a little more success in getting to the bounties and the daily stuff done. But, it kind of feels like when I'm playing Team Scorched and, like a fun Crucible mode. It lasts for about an hour or two. We all laugh and giggle and have fun. And then I'm like, I don't want to play this ever again. I ended up buying, I did buy the rest of the track to get the Sparrow because it's the first combat Sparrow. And yes, I know everyone's been saying there's probably going to be one given, selling, they'll sell to you in Eververse eventually, but just like they did with the Skimmers. But, I had to get it just to see what it's like. And we've been playing a lot of, raids where it's nice to have something to shoot from your Sparrow going in. So, but speaking of which, that brings me to our question of the week. I'm bringing it in early this week because, the way, the question I did ask was, what did you guys think, or are you guys going to play the Heavy Metal game mode? And, how about that? I left my phone in my other room. So I will be right back and grab my phone and we'll get into that. Sorry, guys. Right back.
No problem.
Poor old guy.
That figures. I thought I had everything in front of me and my phone is in my other room. That's a great place to put it, Todd. Our question, like I said, was
at least you remembered where you put it.
It's in one or two spots. But anyway, the question for episode 304 tonight was, did you play the new Heavy Metal game mode? And if you did, what did you think about it? 73% that responded said yes, they played it. 26% said no. Tajo Trade said it's a gimmick game mode like Team Scorch. However, it needs a lot of tuning to make me ever step back into it. The controls are clunky. The Briggs feel weird to control. Side note, why the heck can the Briggs not jump? Yeah, I got that too. The two games I tried playing had a snowball effect. Once one team got a kill and it became a 3v2 or a 3v1, the team would just start steamrolling the enemy. I'll wait for that Sparrow or an alternate version to come out from another source. Right now, I'm not wasting my time in this mode. Hammer Crasher played, same as Tajo. The game mode was absolutely no fun. I can't believe they tested that in-house and still put it out for the public. They should have put that dev time towards new maps in Crucible. I hear you there, brother. Barrel Barley said, so I'm not trying to start anything, but I absolutely loved it. It does need tuning, but my brother and I had so much fun playing it. Now I'm not a PvP guy, so maybe that was something to do with it, but my opinion, but I don't know. Just thought it was cool in spite of the obvious issues. MJT2 said, yeah, I feel the same as Barrel Barley. I hadn't enjoyed PvP in a long time, but found myself really liking this for some reason. Definitely not perfect, but I enjoyed it as a sporadic event. It only lasted 1 week. So Friday to Friday, kind of like Zur, Friday to Friday. So, Necromancer said, I didn't feel like Destiny 2 at all. And it certainly didn't feel like Crucible either. I need 27% more kills to get the title. But once I got it, I'm done with this. I have the Sparrow, but I hate Sparrows. And the rate at which the Sparrow shoots is wholly disappointing. Damned if I can get that tracking shot to ever work. Zombie Pop said, do not care for it. 6v6 might be better. I hear you there, man. So, I mean, looks like generally, well, it's kind of split, I guess. Some people enjoyed it, some people didn't. It just depends on, I guess, what you like to play in Destiny PvP wise. But I just want to bring that up since we're on that topic of, since I brought up that topic of heavy metal. Like I said, strafing is definitely good, as Amazing Taco King said. Yeah, strafing is definitely a friend. I had more success in the tanks because I have more experience playing the tanks, but it was okay. It was just, it was exactly what I thought it would be. It's just a fun Crucible game mode that you play for a few hours and say, yeah, that's pretty fun. But there's just really nothing else to it. That's about it. So,
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not playing it, but I saw the video of it in their little reveal when I was watching it.
Yeah.
And that's what it's there. It's just something for just mindless fun is what it was there for. It was a shot at something, just like Team Scorch.
Yeah.
You go in, you play it, get out of it. You get what you get out of it, and you're done. I mean, I'll give them kudos for trying something different, you know?
Yeah. There you
Yeah.
go. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was when they announced it. It seemed, oh, this is sort of creative. Good to introduce something new from time to time. Having played it, I really hope it wasn't like a huge effort in terms of dev time, because it does seem a little shallow at the moment. Like, your options. Like, I just felt the handful of games I played. It's just really limited in like what you can do, and sort of, is there just one map? Like, it's just the one map, right? Like, because I only ever saw the one on Europa.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it.
so
That's it.
so I don't know if if they'll ever put more more effort into more maps. I don't know if it's worth it. I mean, it seems like maybe it's a cool one-off. They can just introduce an event sometimes when there's not Iron Banner, not Trial, but yeah, I think it's pretty niche. I wasn't much into it personally.
Okay. Well, like I said, it was our question of the week, and everyone was tired of me asking about marathon, so I figured it was time to change it up a little bit. I promise I'll try to be a little more original this time around this week. Look for that though in our question of the week in our Discord channels, and you'll be able to take our next survey and see what you guys think. All right, I think it's time to know about this dude named Grackle. What do you guys think? I'm up for it, right? All right, we'll do that right after this.
Hey, thanks for listening to Guardian Downcast. There are several ways you can contact us. First, you can find us on X at Guardian Downcast. Or you can find us on our Instagram at Guardian Downcast and see what pics and reels Todd the Gator and his podcast guests want to share with you guys. We have a brand new website too. Just visit guardiandowncast.com, where you can find all of our contact info, leave us a voicemail, give our show a rating or review, search for any past episodes, or even give back to our community. Also, don't forget to sign up for future updates to the show, where we'll also have random drawings throughout the year, and you may win a gift card or even some GDC merch. And finally, you can send us an email at guardiandowncast@gmail.com. Our community thrives on interaction, so get involved and check us out. And later, Guardian.
Some people are asking about playing the transitions since they hear them live on the show. just like they do on the podcast. So that's the reason I've been playing those every now and then. Well, let's get to know this guy named Grackle. Grackle, now you mentioned you were, we found you in central, not North Carolina, but Virginia. But where do you hail from? You said you hail from Iowa initially?
I grew up in Austin, Texas. So originally from
that's
Texas.
right. That's right.
But I've lived well, from Austin, but I've lived in Missouri, Colorado, Massachusetts, Iowa, now Virginia. Did study abroad in Germany, lived in Korea for a year. So yeah, I've racked up a few a few places at this point. But yeah, originally from Austin, way back when, before it became what it is now, which is quite different from the Austin that I grew up in. So it's it's a little hard going back home because I it's just like, what is this place? Like, I don't recognize it. Like, I'm glad people seem to like it now. And it's not what I remember, but yeah, I'm originally from Austin.
Austin, Texas. Very nice, man.
I feel like we could say that about a bunch of our hometowns, that they're not what they used to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Austin's definitely one that's changed so much. What do you do for a living, sir?
I work for a education consulting nonprofit, and so I do
Ooh.
sort of business operations and kind of financial oversight and management, kind of some grants and contracts. It's sort of the career that I backed into by accident.
I think we've all done. I think we all did it that way, Grackle.
Yeah, I mean, I went to school and I have 2 degrees in philosophy, so I can't say I'm doing anything with either of those. Although I will say the skills that I got from that are useful. It's just not the subject matter. I always tell people I would recommend sort of a graduate program in philosophy for anybody, because it gets you used to the feeling of being kicked in the face, just sort of in terms of like, you say something and you get a room full of people saying, that's a stupid idea, and here's like 9 reasons why, and you just have to sort of sit there and smile and be like, oh, okay, I effed up there. Like, I shouldn't have said that. Like, I don't actually believe that now that you've sort of countered my argument. I need to go away for a day or two and rethink this argument.
Hey, that's my show every week. That's my show every week, Grackle. Every week, someone changes my mind.
They should give you an honorary degree.
I'm telling you, man. So you have a PhD then? I call you doctor?
I have
2
a
degrees.
master's degree.
Oh, master's.
Okay.
I
left my PhD program.
I see.
But yeah. So
Nice.
yeah. I've been with my current org for almost a year, so it's gone well. But yeah, I've worked in. Again, man, before this, I worked at a think tank. I've worked at a university. I worked my first job was at a grocery store, and I was a tour guide. I mean, I've done a whole
Wow.
bunch. Taught English for a year, which props to your wife, because the year I spent teaching was like man, that felt like treading water on a daily basis. And my wife is a former teacher, somebody that actually has sort of the talent for teaching.
Yep.
So like every day I just felt like I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I need to be sort of rescued by somebody. And I would look over at her, and she'd have her lesson plan. She'd have everything,
Yep.
sort of thought out. She was ready to go. And I was like, oh, who are you? Like, I can't do that. So yeah, hats off to all the teachers out there, because that's a special gift. So yeah.
Yeah. Well, as we speak, my wife is in her office right now doing she's a testing coordinator right now for her school, amongst other things. She's a CRT. She's a curriculum resource teacher. She supplies she's basically the liaison between the staff and the teaching community. And she makes sure everything runs smooth. And I'm telling you, she has so many hats she puts on all the time. And I was telling her the other day, I said, you don't get paid any extra for this job. Why don't you just go back and teach in the classroom? She goes, I just like doing it. I'm like, okay, well, but she's just frazzled right now. It's just so much work and so overwhelmed.
It's the end of the school year.
It's exactly it. It's exactly it. I
end.
I forget every year she has to go through this with the testing, and it's just crazy. What is that? You guys remember there was an Alien movie where Life Force. Does anybody remember the movie Life Force? This will be a callback.
I've never heard of that.
Look, Google that. There's this
How
beautiful
old are
woman
you?
who visits Earth, and she literally
It's
she captures men.
85.
She captures men, and she literally sucks their life force out of them, and they're literally like bags of bones. That's when you said
Does she now?
when you said you taught for a year and you were like exhausted. That is what happens when you teach. Because I've done teaching.
Yeah.
I do it. I've done it for like 6 years straight now, and I'm only there for 3 to 4 hours. And it's like my life force is getting sucked slowly from my body. When I get home, I'm just like, I'm emotionally exhausted, man. I got nothing left. So
I'm looking at the cast for this movie. I recognize one person, Patrick Stewart.
yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
And Peter Firth.
Peter Firth.
Yeah, other than
I just when he mentioned that he did a whole year, I thought of that for some reason. It's weird how stuff pops in your head. I just thought of that Life Force movie where that alien would suck the life force out of your body. It's crazy. That's kind of what I feel like when
I had a stepfather that was a plumber, and I remember I was a teenager. Like, I had a couple of summers where I just spent the summer as his assistant. So I'd go in and doing like rough outs and like all digging ditches all day. And it's just like
you've done
the
everything.
physical exhaustion at the end of that is comparable to the mental exhaustion that I felt every day after trying to teach, six classes, from like kindergartners all the way up to middle schoolers. It's like, oh my God, like I can't, I just need to go to bed because I can't kind of hold any more thoughts in my head after, sort of.
I'm gonna put that movie. I'm gonna put that movie link. I'm gonna put the IMDb in chat, so you guys can check it out.
Don't. It's
yeah, I'm telling you, that movie was messed me up. I tell you, that messed me up. Anyway, I'm off track. Sorry. Are you married? Have kids?
Yeah, married. Let's see, going on 12 years in
Nice.
July.
Very nice.
And got three boys.
Oh.
My oldest is going to be 9 at the end of the month, and then my second oldest is he's a little over 6.5, going to be 7 in September, and my youngest is about a year and a half, like 19.
That's a good spread.
19 months.
Good job. You did good spread there. That way it's not overlapping too much. Mom gets at least a little bit of a break, raising one kid to 6 or to 9, and then here comes the next one. I've been here before. I know how to do this. Yeah. Good job, man. Nice. What is your, because, we all play video games, but I'm always curious when you first fell in love with games. What was that first moment when you remember falling in love with gaming?
It was, I'll never forget it because it was Christmas 1987. Under the tree, NES, Super Mario Brothers, in the package, and I mean, I don't think my mother knew what she was sort of getting into, because as soon as I hooked it up, that was that was like the next the rest of my life right there, just from NES and like all the all the kind of classic games for that system into the. Super had to have a Super Nintendo and a Genesis,
of course,
and I was sort of a ridiculous kind of Sega fanboy. So I had the Saturn, I had the Dreamcast. It broke my heart when they pulled the plug on the Dreamcast because I felt like they finally got it. This is a good system.
Great system. I loved it.
My parents wouldn't buy it for me. I was mad. Too expensive.
Had a PlayStation 1, and then I actually sort of kind of as I got into I think when I got into grad school, like I had an Xbox, but then really there was a big lull where I didn't really game much at all, from like kind of missed out on PS2, 3, Xbox 360, Xbox Xbox One. And then it wasn't until the latest generation sort of came out where I saw that there was console release upcoming, PS5, Xbox Series. And it was at a point in my life, like it was kind of pandemic. It was like, home a lot, nothing else to do. Like, we felt like at that time we had a pretty good handle on 2 kids. So I had some free time.
Nice.
So I was like, I'm going to jump back in. And PS5 was impossible to get. So it's like, I'm not even going to try. And I got my hands on a Series S, because like I'm not gonna buy a Series X. It's like, who knows if I'm actually gonna have any time to play.
Yeah.
I want to spend a lot of money on it.
Yep.
So I just got a very modest Series S, and set it up. And I remember I bought Red Dead Redemption 2 because I'd read about that game and I was so anxious,
That's a
sort
great
of
game.
excited to play it. And
Yep.
I got Fallout 4 because I used to love the Fallout games. Really wanted to play that. And then I got Game Pass, and I sort of looked at Game Pass.
Mhm.
One of the first things that popped up was Destiny 2, which like I was aware of, like that Destiny existed, that it was a sort of a popular kind of franchise, and I knew it was Bungie, and I knew Bungie did Halo. I was a huge Halo fan back in Xbox days, and so just on reputation alone, I was like, I'm down with this, try it out. I almost stopped playing immediately because I didn't realize, like, coming up on middle age, there was just a lot going on. Like, it
Middle
was the
age.
first
Do you hear
first
that,
person
Gator? He said
shooter.
middle age. That's funny.
Yeah.
Funny guy. Sorry, man.
On the younger end, but
Okay.
still there.
You're far from middle
And
age, sir.
um,
Mm.
but it's like once I got a handle on it,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
okay, I think I kind of the sort of muscle memory kicked in. The gunplay felt awesome. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
okay, I'm gonna stick with this.
where they
And
get you.
then and then once you come out of that opening mission in the Cosmodrome, and it sort of releases you into the world, there's that spider tank, and then you see all these other like names floating around. And it took me like 2 or 3 seconds to figure it out. Oh, those are other people. Like, this is this is a public space. Like, it's like this is kind of cool. And then then like that was Beyond Light, so
Yep.
went into all of that. And yeah, that's kind of how I got to hear a little bit.
You got a favorite Destiny moment? Like a memory that sticks in your head of playing?
I think the most recent one was soloing Prophecy, just because
Nice.
not flawless, but just soloing
Oh, who
it,
cares?
because
You made it.
It was a thing where I don't typically try to solo any kind of I'm the sort of person that's like, the thought of going into a dungeon, spending a lot of time, and then wiping with like nothing to show for it. It's just like, oh, it's really kind of I'd like to at least have give me something at the end
Mhm.
of the activity, just a strange coin or something that lets me know kind of I'm not
Have
coming out
some more.
empty-handed.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I typically don't try that stuff, but I don't know. Arc Warlock is so strong this
It's
time
fun.
around. I was like, I bet I could do it. And then then it's just sort of, once I got to the end, it's like, that's just something I never thought was going to happen. And it's like, and it did. I think other than that, I do have the only other hero moment I think of was actually, you might have been in it was a Garden of Salvation that you might have actually been in, Todd. It was a couple years ago, I feel like, but
I probably
I
wasn't
just remember
very good.
it was the second the Harpy encounter, and I just remember like Sin or no, Kingsley was like, we didn't get it. We're getting the other damage phase. Like, we're not doing enough DPS. And Sin was like, no, we got it. We're gonna do it. We're not gonna give it up. And I just like hit my, hit. It was like, okay, I got a blade barrage. Let me just throw it out. And it was like, put us right over the edge. It was like, there we go. You're all welcome.
Might have a
We
question
cleared
about
it
that
out for it
later.
all.
Nice, man. That's cool. I love those moments when it happens. You just can't beat it. You just can't beat those.
Yeah.
Is there do you have a favorite character in the game that you like? In Destiny 2, I'm speaking of. I know you play other games.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a Warlock main. It took me a while to kind of figure that out. I
Mhm.
created the Warlock first, and then I gave it up because the jump was so annoying, and I couldn't figure it out.
It's an acquired
And then
skill.
I thought it was me, and I switched to Hunter. I was like, okay, the game feels playable now. And so then I was a Hunter main for a while, but then no, I always kind of wanted to be a Warlock, and it's just it's the space magic fantasy just felt like more fully realized as a Void Lock. And so I was like, just the feeling of throwing a Nova Bomb, sort of always feels good. So yeah, sort of Warlock main, Void Lock, sort of preferred. Obviously Arc and other sort of
Of course.
subclasses come into vogue. You gotta do what makes the most sense. But yeah, I'm always sort of tending toward that when I play.
Next question. Do you prefer to play as a solo player or do you try to play with a group?
Tend towards solo, just because, like, generally when I do play, like it's like, it's like that 1 or 2 hours at the
Mhm.
end of the day.
Mhm.
Kids are in bed, wife has gotten sleepy, gone off, so it's, I have a kind of a limited window of time. It's generally kind of not enough for a raid, maybe a dungeon, but it's just sort of not so predictable. So usually, yeah, most nights I'm just solo stuff, either just doing kind of control in the Crucible, or kind of running strikes just for the sort of zen-like experience of moving through the motions of a strike that you don't really have to think about very very much. Yeah, so usually solo stuff, but always excited when I know there's a sort of chunk of time coming up on a Friday or a Saturday where I
Right.
know not a school day, nothing going
Right.
on, where I can carve out a raid time, or something more communal.
I totally get it, man, because you decide to jump on and it's really usually unplanned. It's like, you know what? It's only 10 o'clock. Let's jump on and play some. And if you're with a group, it feels like you're committed and that you really, once you join and do a raid or whatever, that you're kind of invested to stick around until you
Yeah.
guys get it done. So, and that could stretch beyond what you're comfortable doing. I totally get that, man. But I tell you what, you ought to try the new Ride of the Nine activity they have right now. They have an explorer mode where you can go in solo on selected dungeons every week. They actually give you hints. They reduce the enemy health where you're not getting overloaded. They a bunch of different things. They really show you where to go. They show you them. They explain the mechanic to you. It's really a good time if you've ever wanted to solo a dungeon. It's the best time to do it because I think Bungie really needs to head this direction in a lot of their higher end activities, because there's a lot of solo players out there that want to play, but there's some activities you can only play with a group. I mean, realistically, we're not all esoteric, but yeah, you ought to try that new Ride of the Nine. I know you haven't played a lot lately, but it's free to everybody to jump into, and it's pretty nice. It's pretty nice. Yeah, Amazing Taco King said right here, I get in and out in about 20 minutes on Spire, which is, we'll talk about that later, but that's the dungeon for this week. Yeah, good point, Amazing Taco King. So, it's a good time if you wanted to learn some of the dungeons and you haven't played them a lot. And I'm raising my hand here because I played every dungeon once. And after that, I just went, okay, been there, done that. I'm moving on to do what I normally want to do. Now with this Ride of the Nine, I feel like I can jump in and I have a better time soloing a dungeon, which I think is real important. I think Bungie needs to head this direction in a lot of stuff. And then leave the hard stuff to the people who want to grind and want to go crazy and go max their builds out and all that stuff. So there's a place for that as well. How did you originally find our community? I'm just curious. The Guardian Downcast community.
Yeah, that's I remember once I sort of noticed once I was firmly in the game, and I did. I knew that there was sort of a lot of like the dungeons and the raids and like all this great stuff that was you needed a group to play with, but I was so hesitant to I didn't really want to kind of go in with randoms, because I had been burned before in other games with sort of kind of the people that you sometimes encounter who don't have the best perspective, or kind of attitude that it is a video game, it is for fun,
Yep.
and I just couldn't. I just felt like the thought of being yelled at or messaged by an 18-year-old who's annoyed that one of my kids had a bad dream and woke up, and I gotta go, I got real life to deal with. I was like, I'm a grown-ass man, I don't need to deal with that.
Love it.
I need
There's our
people, I need
title. I'm a
people.
grown ass man.
I was like, I need people that they kind of get it a little bit. And so I searched, sort of like, I don't remember like the key. I think I actually used keywords like dads, Destiny 2, sort of like
It's
looking for
funny
a
you should
group
say
of
that. That's one of our
good
keywords.
parents.
That's one of the keywords
Yeah.
I put in
And
our podcast is dads.
that is how I found Guardian
About that.
Downcast, and I saw it was advertised as a place for adults, so to speak.
Mhm.
People who kind of
Yeah.
I felt like would get it if I did need to unfortunately bail on a dungeon or raid at the last minute. And and I'm certainly willing to sort of extend the same grace to anybody that had to do the same. And yeah, so that's how I found the clan and the show, and yeah, it was exactly the sort of kind of attitude, atmosphere that I was looking for, and I mean, it's only sort of grown and improved since then. So yeah, I mean, kudos to you, Gator,
Oh,
for being the sort of engine behind that all
thanks,
this
man.
time. So yeah, it was I will say it was as advertised and more.
Nice.
So
Oh,
yeah,
that's
well
awesome.
done.
That's good to hear, man. I'd like to take full credit, but there were two other guys that helped me start this community. Even though they're not here anymore, I still have to give credit to them because we're the three guys who took that chance and made the community. So I just kept it going. But I'm really curious, Grackle. Real important question here, man. Do you do bounties?
I mean,
Don't listen.
why not?
Don't look
I
at
mean,
chat. Don't look at chat.
I'm playing the game anyway. I might as well get a little something extra
Gotta
for it.
get
So
paid. Don't meme that. Gotta get paid. Gotta get paid when you're playing. I mean, come on. Rewards for value for time you play in the game. That's good answer. Good answer. You did mention you're a warlock main, correct?
yes.
Okay. Other than, wanting to throw a Nova Bomb, what other reason did you choose that class? Is it just the mage part of it, or?
Yeah, I mean, I'm always like in any sort of kind of fantasy type thing. As the prospect of getting to use kind of magic is always even in Diablo, I was always like the sorcerer or whatever. Like that was always more fun than just sort of the barbarian. I I have a Titan. I almost never play it. I just sort of the punch aspect of it is just like, okay, that's just not for me. Like I would prefer to I I'm I'm the coward in the back of the scout rifle, just picking people off. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I use Might multi tool in Crucible most of the time. So yeah, I like to do damage from range, where I don't have to get my hands too dirty. But
Smart. It's a smart play
the warlocks
sometimes.
seem to sort of facilitate that.
Some people like to run in there with guns blazing. It just depends on the person, I guess. What activities do you prefer and do you enjoy the most when you play Destiny 2? What's your go-to activity if you have a couple hours a night?
I mean, to my surprise, I do find myself in the Crucible more often than not, just because if you just have a limited amount of time, and I generally don't get too tilted, a little tilted sometimes, but not too tilted with the
Oh,
outcome
Shimo.
of any given match.
Right.
Yeah, it's sort of you go in, you play control. It's over. It's over in about 10 minutes. Shorter if you get stomped or
Yep.
the one doing. Fortunate to be on the team doing the stomping. So yeah, I play. I don't typically think of myself as sort of a PvP first player, but I think when I kind of look at my playtime, it's like, oh, I was in the Crucible a lot more than I kind of thought I'd be. Other than that, like since Heresy started, a fair amount of like the ritual activities were pretty fun this time around. So did quite a bit of sort of the dreadnought stuff and the
Another.
kind of the nether stuff was
Mhm.
was good. And um yeah, I uh just strikes playlist is always sort of a nice fallback if like I said, don't have to think too hard about what's going on there.
Yeah.
I like Gambit. I mean, I don't really sort of hate it the way other people do. I just don't play it very often. So
I get that.
yeah.
I mean, once I start playing it, I'm like, okay, it's a fun game. It's a fun game.
Yeah.
It's nice to go and invade people and make them cry when they have 15 motes in their hand and you make them blow up. It's always fun. But griefing the other team. But it's not fun when it happens to you though. But it's an okay game. I know they really haven't done much with Gambit and even not much with Crucible either. So I don't know where Bungie's heading down the road with that aspect of it, but that's another topic. But I got a vault question for you.
Yeah.
If you said you had to delete everything in your vault, what is the one weapon you would refuse to delete and why? You can use dim if you need to. It can be exotic too.
It's just one weapon out of like all three, like
300.
I mean,
no, I mean, is there like a favorite weapon that, I just had I just did 100 vault cleaning because I lost a bet to Kingsley and there were some weapons I had 5 vetoes where I could say, no, I'm vetoing that. That weapon is
Yeah.
not coming out. What is that one weapon
Yeah.
you would use that veto on?
Hmm.
Or do weapons matter much to you? Maybe they don't.
They do, and
Yeah.
I mean it's a little. My vault is not full. I mean
Huh.
I probably got like 100, 125 spaces. I mean it's not it's not overflowing, but I do have a lot of stuff, and I do find it hard uh to 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 get rid of a fair number of things. But if I'm cutting down to the bone here, and it's
Mhm.
just one, I kind of think it'd be Dead Man's Tale. Like that's the one
Okay.
where I feel like if I've got that, I'm good for long range, I'm good for short range. Like,
Gotcha.
it feels great. I've taken it into all kinds of, kind of situations. Man, I've like clearing dungeons, sort of as just my kind of go-to weapon. I remember for the or on Atheon, doing the oracles. I don't know if people have noticed, but a lot of times I use dead mans to, like, shoot them instead of a sniper rifle, because I feel like it's just snappy. Like, I
Dead
can
hard.
just sort of get it on target and start firing quickly right away. And I'm not doing a disservice to the team.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think it'd be my DMT. It'd probably be the
Well,
one. It's like I cannot get rid of this.
keep that in mind. If you want a legendary version of that, the long arm is actually one of the weapons from the Rite of the Nine as well. Another reason why you might want to play it. But okay, good answer. Okay. If Bungie assigned you
Give
a
you another
small,
easier way to
what,
clear out your vault. You know,
what's
What's
that?
that?
close down dim and never open it again. Boom, vault cleaned out. You don't have to worry about filling it back
In
in.
what world would that happen with me? No, it wouldn't happen at all.
That's where you just delete Destiny, and then you don't have to worry about filling it up ever
Okay.
again.
Speaking of Bungie, if they assigned you a small but versatile dev team to work on the future of the game, what would you work on? What would you want to add to the game or fix?
Hmm. Um. Yeah, I mean,
Like for me, for instance,
yeah,
they need to expand on Crucible. They need to support it like they used to, because that is the ultimate end game when there's nothing to play. So,
So I got a caveat to that question.
yeah.
You said small team of devs.
mm-hmm. Like,
So with all the layoffs and everything that's happened, how small are we talking about now?
let's just say a
'Cause
team.
before, when you used to ask that question, they had a lot more people.
Yeah, that's true. Let's just say you had a team of 10 really highly skilled devs that can work. They work in all kinds of different areas. You'd have a complete team that could make things happen within, I don't know, 6 months or so on a quality of life or anything that you would want them to do.
I think it probably would be something with Gambit, just because it's so neglected, and it's not a bad idea. I mean, the concept makes a lot of sense. It can be, um, um, I've had fun. I mean, I think there's ways of doing it well, and I feel like they've tried. Like, they used to iterate on it, and they used to do different. Like, before I ever got to Destiny, like, I never got to experience the whole where they were like kind of assigned roles. Where like every kind of different
Destiny
jobs.
Prime or can't
Yeah,
remember
Gambit Prime or
Gambit
whatever it
Prime, I
was.
think it was called. Yeah,
Yeah,
I missed
so
that.
Yeah.
I do feel like that's sort of an idea worth kind of salvaging a little bit, and a space where um which is weird, because I I feel like some of the um early returns and feedback on Marathon, where people are talking about, like, oh, it's PvP plus PvE. I was like, wait a minute, they just taken sort of like, Gambit and trying to turn it into extraction shooter. uh um but no, I mean, I think they've given up on it, and I think unfairly. I don't, it doesn't seem like it should be. If you give it time and attention, it should be just as strong. It was introduced as a pillar of the game,
Right.
or one of the three kind of core kind of activities, and there's no reason to sort of, I feel like, to give up on it on the way that they seem to have. Um, So I'd want to. I don't think it would take a lot of effort to get like some smart people to come up with some really fun, creative ideas to make it better than it currently is.
Man,
That would get people playing in. So
I remember people saying they were at GDC or Guardian, not GDC,
Guardian Con?
the Guardian Con. Yeah, it's called something else now. But I remember people said they were waiting in line for like 4 hours just to play one match or one demo match of Gambit.
Oh yeah, when they brought it to
Yeah,
when they brought it there that one year. Yeah.
and now people, you think about it. There's not many games out there like it. It's a very unique
Oh.
game. I'm sure there's a few. I mean, yeah, okay. There, the new extraction shooters, they have a lot of PvE enemies as well as PvP. But as far as an arena type game, it's not a whole lot out there that I can think of. But I don't play a ton of games, so maybe I'm biased. But oh well. Okay. Next question: do you have any other hobbies other than gaming?
Let's see. Other than gaming, I sort of for IRL activities, it is the beginning of what I consider running season for me. So I like to run. I'm not like a marathoner or anything. That frankly that seems kind of miserable. Like I don't know why people I mean, good for you. If you put in 26 miles, but for me, I just want to do 4 or 5, maybe 9. If I'm feeling
Right.
ambitious and I have a lot of time. But no, it's just I don't know. What weight training. I don't know. It's hard to do. Doesn't you kind of to get excited for. So in terms of like physical activities, like but you getting in nice run on a nice day, kind of nice breeze. You're out and about. If you've got access to fresh air, which I do, thankfully. A lot of trees around. It's sort of a nice kind of. It's like I've told my wife, like I've never been in a bad mood out on a run. Like it just sort of kind of clears your mind, gives you a nice. Well, I won't call it a vacation because it
It's a
doesn't feel
vacation.
great all the time, but it's sort of a
No.
mental vacation at least.
Getting out in nature, man. I mean, it's something about it. It really quiets your head, and sometimes we need that because especially if we're sitting in front of screens all day. It's like you mentioned weight training. I love weight training. I love going to the gym and lifting weights, but not because it's fun watching a weight go up and down and counting 12 times, 3 sets. That's not the fun part. The fun part is when you're walking out the door, you feel like your body's done something and you get a little charge
Yeah.
of energy. It's like an extra kick in the butt, man. I can't explain it, but I'm hooked on it now. So like I said, I've been going,
Yeah.
probably why I'm sick, but, well,
Yeah, it helps. Do you
Yeah.
go with somebody or you just go by
no,
yourself?
I don't like working out with people. I used to go with my son,
really?
and the problem with working out with my son is we both have earbuds in, listening to a podcast or music or whatever, and we never could hear each other. And the gym we used to go to, you'd have people just sitting on them with their phone on, and I'm like, dude, you gonna use this or? Anyway, but we wanted to try. We had a circuit that we were working to keep our heart rate up as well, and it just got clogged up. There were so many people getting in our way, and it just was tough to do. It was tough to coordinate 2 people at the same time. And really, when I go to the gym, I'm in my own thoughts. I'm in my own world. It's like you going on a run. I'm not thinking about anything. I might be playing a podcast to my earbuds. I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to say hi to anybody. I just want to do my work, do my reps, click it off in my app that I've done it, and go to the hydro spa and hit home. That's all. I don't know. I've always, it's like meditation time for me. I can't explain it other than that, but, yeah.
No, I get it. Yeah, I almost never run with anybody else. I mean, I have it before, in life. It's okay, but no, I kind of think of it as a kind of a meditative experience when you're but it's funny I asked just because the weight training part I've only ever enjoyed years ago when I was in grad school. I had one of the guys that was in school. He was really big into like he had like it was almost like a bodybuilder type of
Mhm.
guy. Like he had like a really nice physique, but he just wanted company. And I remember one day in the kind of grad student lounge, he's like, "Does anybody want to go lift weights?" And of course, like, no hands went up. And I was like, "I'll go with you. And like, if you need somebody to go with you, I'll just go with you." And so we would just like talk philosophy like between reps, it was sort of
Nice.
that was fun. And since he knew what he was doing, like he would just tell me like, in between sort of deep insights on like metaphysics, he'd be like, keep your back straight, or like, don't do that, like, you're gonna get hurt. Like,
Yep. Form is everything.
And then like he was also really into jujitsu, so it's like
Oh, nice.
we would lift weights and then we would go grapple for like an hour.
Ugh,
And
no thanks.
I just got steamrolled every single time.
Oh yeah. My
Like
son
choked
could
out and
My son could run loops around me, man. He's really good in jiu-jitsu. Yeah, I played a video one time of us sparring, and it was like a gorilla with a spoon on it in his hand against someone with a sword. It just wasn't. It didn't even look right. It didn't even look like it should have never happened. Really weird, but anyway, dude, I have to ask this because I have never figured out this in all the years you've been in our community. What's up with that gamer tag? Grackle. Well, it used to be called something else, didn't it?
It was. It used to be Pensive Man X, and then some numbers, which was like an Xbox generated username.
Pensive Man.
Because,
oh my god.
To sort of segue from the hobbies question, I have done like creative writing as a hobby as well. Like, I've written short stories. I wrote a screenplay with a couple of friends that we self-produced and actually like turned into our little our own short film. But I mean, when it comes to like naming things, I'm totally like I'm the first person to go to like internet name generator, and like let it do the work for me.
Got you.
It's like I don't know what to call much less myself. So like when it came to creating a username, when I first like logged on to my Series S, years ago, I was like, I got nothing. So just like threw that on there, and I was like, all right, like I don't have any better ideas. And so yeah, it was like nonsensical. And I remember the first raid I ever did with the community, both at all, and it was with the community, was when they did the reprise Vault of Glass. And it was actually I remember it was with Hazel, and it was with Night Demon. And I remember the whole time Night Demon was like, he just like every time he tried to talk to me, he would hesitate because he'd look at my name and he just like didn't know what to do with it.
That sounds like Night Demon. Nice.
But then finally it got to the point where I just like, I can't live with this any longer. And I went in to change it. But again, I was like, I don't know what to do.
Man.
And so I don't remember. I remember like, I don't know if it was like an Xbox suggested thing or I saw it somewhere on the internet, but it was like, choose an animal that you like. And
Wow.
it's like, so I was like thinking, I was like, oh, it's the first thing that came to mind was, growing up in Austin, is a lot true of a lot of places, but sort of something that sticks out to me when I go home is grackles, because they're everywhere.
Okay.
They're sort of like the trash bird of like New York City has its pigeons. Austin has grackles. They're just like constantly, if you're trying to eat outside anywhere, they are looking to see when you're going to turn your back so they can swoop in and take your taco or whatever it is. And I always, to me, it's just a nostalgic, like, I feel like it reminds me of home. Just they make the weirdest sort of, I can't even replicate the sounds that they make, like the calls, and are just sort of insane what they do. I think they look awesome. Just sort of like if you kind of took like a fighter jet and turned it into a bird. They're so sleek,
Nice.
streamlined. They're kind of an iridescent color. They look great. So like, okay, Grackle. And then I think it wasn't long enough, or sort of like that was taken. And so I initially like added red to just fill out the sort of first three letters and get it like in the system.
That's what I remembered you by.
Yeah, that's how I settled upon that. And it's worked.
See, we
It's
don't
been
have
good enough ever since. So
we don't have grackles in Florida. If we do, I don't see them.
Yeah, no,
It's
I don't
crows.
think.
We call crows the tree rats here. They're always
Yeah.
jumping down to grab something out of your hand if they're bold enough. I've been to Disney, man, where people feed them too much. RNG Gator knows this. We go to that hamburger place we went to. There was a guy there that kept feeding him fries, and eventually the damn thing sat in his damn lap, going, "Where's my next fry, mf'er?" You know what I'm saying? And the guy was freaking out. He's like, "What's going on here? This damn bird won't leave me alone." Yeah.
Stop feeding them.
Yeah, man. Come on. You trained them. What do you want to, what do you want? Just a couple more questions here, Grackle. Do you live by a motto or mantra? Not everybody does, or it's a different
Yeah, I mean,
version
I feel
usually,
like
but
yeah, I feel like at different points in my life, I probably would have had an answer to this question, or sort of a more eloquent one. Like I think at this point, it really just sort of it's like, kind of. I'll keep it PG and just be like, don't be a jerk. Like, it's like
yeah, I'll say it. I'll say it. Don't be a dick. Don't be a dick.
Yeah, like that's sort of the general rule.
Yeah.
I've tried to both
Gotcha.
keep in mind, and sort of, if my parenting sort of boils down to something, if like trying to sort of impart that to my sons, be like, come on, man, just try not to be we haven't gotten to the word dick yet, thankfully.
Yes, yes.
It's coming, I'm sure. Let's be a little bit better than that. So yeah, I think that about sums it up.
Okay. Last question. It's always my favorite. What's one thing about you that our community may not know about you? Could be a fun fact or whatever.
Yeah, I was on track, or I took the first steps to being a priest at one point. That's where I thought
Really?
my life was headed. That's why I exited my graduate program early. I joined a religious order, the Catholic or religious order, and did like their novitiate year. So
Mhm.
yeah, I lived in like a religious house with other novices, and like had a novice master, and went to church every day, and kind of had the religious habit.
Mhm.
I had people like coming up to me who like were ready to confess their sins, and I was like, whoa, I'm like,
Not
first year, like in training. I'm not ready to give you absolution yet.
nice.
So, like, I had to give a sort of a homily to a church full of people.
Wow.
It was an eye-opening experience. Obviously married, 3 kids. It didn't take.
There goes.
Now,
Yeah.
now I go to a synagogue. If I go to sort of a
Okay.
kind of a religious institution at all.
Gotcha.
My wife is Jewish. We're
I
raising
gotcha.
my kids Jewish, but
Nice.
yeah, I think that's sort of probably something that most people don't expect, or and if
Now,
don't usually assume something that I've done.
I respect that, man. I do. Now, Kingsley Mack, who's probably going to listen to this episode, is probably chomping at the bit right now because he threw in a question to ask you. And
Hold on, let me take a guess. Is it what I think it is?
Hmm?
Is it the one Kingsley always likes to
Nope.
ask?
Mm-mm.
No,
Well, you know
that
what?
one
Go ahead and
might be
ask that
good.
one, though. Ask that one, Gator.
All right. If you do eat sweets, what is your favorite dessert?
I have answered this before on Guardian Hub when I was a
Mhm.
guest on their show. The answer I gave them was maranito, which is like a Mexican sweetbread. It's like a
Ooh.
like a molasses cookie,
I'm in.
usually in the shape of a pig. It's like that's why maranito is like little pig. It's like the
Mhm.
name in Spanish, and that's always like if those are available, I'm gonna take 2 or 3. Just stuff my face with. And I love those ever since I was a kid.
Nice.
However, the answer I will give here, which is like a kind of co-favorite, is pecan pie, which is like
Oh, yes.
always,
Especially
like, when it
especially if the pecans are caramelized just right. Ugh.
yeah.
Mm.
When Thanksgiving time comes around, that's
Mhm.
always you
gotcha.
gotta have the meal, just to have meal's great, but I'm always sort of like looking forward to nice slice of pecan pie at the end of Thanksgiving dinner. It's like the highlight
Nice.
of the holiday. So
Yeah,
pecan
I
pie.
never can eat just one slice. That's the reason why I'm a little overweight right now. Um, All right. The question that Kingsley did want me to ask you, and yes, Kingsley, I'm asking it right now. What does the game show Jeopardy mean to you?
I was the contestant number 2
Really?
on the not July, January 4th, 2019 was
Really?
my air date. Yeah, so if you want to go and look that one up in the archives, it was in
Okay.
the sort of the last days of the Alex Trebek Jeopardy run.
Yeah.
So
Rest in
sort of,
peace.
yeah, it was glad to have sort of had the pleasure of being on during his tenure.
No.
But no, it was, I mean, it was I mean, I watched it growing up, like it was on like after the uh the local news, like 5, 6 o'clock or something. And so I was like there and sitting at home, and when I was a kid, I just loved trivia, like, kind of books of facts. Like I would just read that instead of novels or anything else. I knew all this, random uh,
That's
uh
awesome.
random stuff, and so I was like answering questions. And of course, I feel like, a lot of people are like, oh, I could be on this show. Like, oh, they got that wrong. I do that. Like, and then years later, because like all I knew about it was, when you're a kid, like in the 80s and 90s, like they filmed these shows in LA. You got to be in LA, or sort of, occasionally, like they would say like they're in Milwaukee. Like they never came to Austin. Like nobody did. Like Austin wasn't on anybody's map. Like maybe Dallas, maybe Houston, San Antonio, like if it was like a freak thing, but not Austin. So it's like, never sort of had a thought of being on the show. But then, the internet. And so a few years ago, since they moved to doing online uh, uh audition, tryouts,
Mm-hmm.
I signed up to take the online test. uh and it you're there on like the evening. It tells you to be there. Pop-up window comes up in your browser, and it's just spitting, questions at you. You just have like 10 seconds to type in the answer. Not nearly enough to try to Google it in a separate window,
Right.
and, to try to figure it out. And then it's over, and then it doesn't tell you what you did, how you did, what you got right. It's just sort of, thanks for playing, we'll be in touch. And it was just silence for months. And then I remember I was at work and I was checking my email, and it was an email from like Sony, television, but it was like all plain text. There was like no HTML. There was like no logo. There was no sort of
Wow.
letterhead. So I thought it was like fake. I was like, I
Yeah.
was
You're
being
getting scammed.
trolled by somebody. Yeah, but it was all about like, congratulations, you took the online test, so we're inviting you to come to the in-person audition. And so I sort of like, oh, maybe this is for real. So I, responded, and it turns out it was. And
Jeez.
I was living in rural, in middle of nowhere, Iowa at the time. And so it was, uh, go to Omaha at like this date and time, which is like 4 hours away from me. And so I drive to Omaha, go to the hotel, where they're doing it. They have like a mock stage set up in just like the hotel conference room.
Mm-hmm.
You're there with like 3 or 4 dozen other people, all of whom have like driven like, some just as far, sometimes farther. It's like, for all of the Midwest. And I felt bad because like there were people there who watched the show religiously. Like they were talking about specific dates and episodes, and like knew it back and front. And I was just somebody that sort of watched it occasionally, just always wanted to sort of do it. Like, that, sort of lucky to be there kind of person. And it took like an afternoon, and the producers of the show that were there just sort of not yelling in sort of a mean-spirited way, but like constantly they're like, this is a game show, it's supposed to be fun. Like, aren't you, like, you don't look like you're having fun. It's like, quit being so uptight. And so again, they're like, you like try out for the show, and then you have to take another test, pen and paper. And again, like, you do all this, and then you walk out, and they're just sort of like, thanks for playing. And he's like, I have no idea, like, how I did, or like what. And then again, like silence for a little while, and then I got a phone call. They're just like, congratulations, we're inviting you to be on the show. Can you make it? and they're like, be here. It was in November, the taping that for me.
Wow, that's how far in advance they tape it.
Yeah, and I went. I tried. My wife was like, "Are you gonna, how are you gonna prepare for this?" And I was like, you know, obviously I knew enough to get me to this point of like, the past, this was 5 years ago. I was like, 39 years of life. Like, I don't think I'm going to learn that much more in like 3 weeks, sort of, change anything. So I remember I reviewed some like science stuff because it's always sort of the category. It's like,
Yeah.
I avoided science classes as far as I could through like high school and college.
Right.
So it's like, that's what I felt like was the weakest. And then like opera and stuff like that I just don't know.
Ugh, opera.
But then and I flew out, had a cold on like the day of the taping, so it's like
Jeez.
didn't feel great, but it's like it is what it is. And you sit in a very cold television studio just waiting to see if like your turn is going to come up, but they tell you like if somebody goes on a run or like they don't do it fast enough, you might have to like spend another night and come back tomorrow. I was like on the very last show they taped for that day.
Gee whiz.
It just goes by super fast. Like you really, I was amazed how after a few minutes I forgot that there's like a studio audience of people watching you. I was just like so kind of like, oh, I got, trying to there's Trebek and there's these two other people, and like your world just like shrinks really quickly. They give you this whole thing about the buzzer and like sort of strategies for doing it,
How
and
fast to press it or when to press it, or
yeah, they're like you cannot, don't try and think you're gonna um jump the gun or get an advantage, because if you press it too soon, you actually there's like a cue, and so if you like
disqualify
try to
you.
press it before you're allowed to, it actually like puts you at the back of the
Oh,
line, so the other people get an advantage over you. So
that's
they're like, as soon as you see the like there's like an audio cue and a visual cue, and like you have to wait for that exact moment to hit it if you want to have the best chance of it.
mm,
But um and yeah, it went by super fast. And uh I was proud that they got the daily double correct.
nice.
Embarrassed by like how wrong I was on like the final Jeopardy.
Mm,
Not that it would have mattered, because even if I would have bet everything and won, the guy who won the show ended up like, he was afraid that I was gonna like bet everything,
right.
so he had like $100 more, and he got it
Mm,
right, so he would have won regardless. So
that had to be a good
I got
experience, though, man. Well,
yeah, no, but
that's a bucket moment.
yeah, it was cool because like years and years ago, I told myself like I'm going to it would be cool if I could have a song of mine played on the radio, if I could have something I wrote published, and if I could be on like national TV. And once I was on Jeopardy, that was like the final checkbox on that list. And I was like, I have heard a song that I wrote like and performed on the radio. I've had something published in like a literary journal, and I have now been on TV. I was like,
That's
it's
fantastic,
like
man. How many
it's
people
like
can say
I
that?
can.
You know, not many. That's awesome, dude. Well, thanks for sharing that. I had a feel. I
Yeah.
think I remember you telling everybody that when you were on Guardian Hub. I listened to all their episodes. I remember me mentioning something like that. So thanks for sharing it again today. I had a feeling I
Yeah.
knew what that question was about, but good deal. Well,
I still use that headshot for like all
do you
sorts of
really?
things, because
Nice.
because like how often do you have like professional makeup people
Yeah,
work you over and like make you
definitely.
look ready for TV?
Oh my God,
It's getting
definitely.
kind of out of date at this point, but it's like it's
Mhm.
the best thing I've got to show people. So
Thank you, man. Well, hey, thanks for sharing your life with us tonight, man. I really appreciate it.
no problem. My pleasure.
All right, that means it's time for the speed run.
Call the Praxic Order, call the Thanatonauts, the Ginseng Scribes, call everyone so they can witness you.
Well, this segment is called the speed run. I've handpicked 25 questions from a pool of over 1,000 submitted by our community. These are quick, simple questions to know our guest at an even deeper level. No time limits, no contests, just questions and answers. So what do you think, Grackle? You ready to do this? I think you're pretty good with
Ready as I'll
questions.
ever be.
I'm guessing you're probably pretty good with questions. Okay, number one, fries or onion rings?
Onion rings.
Number two, what is one of your most favorite music artists?
Nico Case.
Number three, what is your favorite Destiny exotic? It could be from either game.
Dead Man's Tale.
If you could choose, who would voice your ghost?
Of David Attenborough.
Oh man, that would be fantastic. Oh, I can't even do an impression of him. That'd be awesome, dude. That's the best answer I've heard in a while. Void, solar, arc, stasis, or strand.
Void.
Number 6, pulse, hand cannon, scout, or auto rifle.
Scout.
Okay. Number 7, what is one of your favorite movies?
Man, Hunt for Red October. If it's on, I
That's
gotta
a
watch.
great movie. Great movie. Number 8, the latest you've been up gaming.
Of probably 4 a.m. Some like 3:30, I guess.
I've been there. Nice. Number 9, what's the worst job you've ever had?
I was the busboy at an IHOP for a month.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Okay, I remember what number I'm on. What number 10? What is your beverage of choice?
Oh, that is a tough one. On a daily basis, some sort of like Spindrift, like a sparkling water
Okay,
type of thing. Otherwise, nice red wine. It's usually at the top of the list.
very nice. Number 11, stealth or guns blazing? I think I know how you're going to answer this.
Stealth.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Number 12, sweet or salty, and what is your favorite snack based on that answer?
Salty and chips and salsa, with the emphasis being on the salsa. The chips are kind of just like the salsa delivery
They're just the carrier.
vehicle.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
just the cup. Gotcha. Yeah, like a good salsa. Okay. Number 13. Would you rather travel the world on a tight budget or live in one country in luxury?
Probably probably travel the world on a tight budget. It's a little painful having kind of done it before, but yeah, I worry about getting bored even
You can't.
with the comfort.
You can't buy memories. You can't buy them.
Yeah.
Number 14. What is your favorite Destiny planet and why?
There's something comfortable about the EDZ. I
like it too.
If I just need to sort of walk around and shoot things, I typically go there.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. Okay. Number 15. If money was no object, would you retire in an RV or a sailboat?
RV. I can't swim, and the ocean's sort of frightening.
That's a no-brainer. Okay. Number 16. Apples or oranges?
Oranges.
Number 17. Describe yourself in one word.
Conscientious.
Okay. Number 18. What's the name of the first podcast you ever listened to?
In Our Time, a BBC
Oh,
podcast.
In Our Time. Yeah, I got that one. Nice. Number 19. Can you drive a stick shift?
No.
Okay. No judgment. Number 20.
Judgment.
Favorite armor shader color. Now you can look it up if you have to, but favorite armor shader color.
Ooh, I actually can say it because I had to put it on earlier today. Carminica is usually
Oh,
it's like a nice
Yeah, nice
deep
red.
red. Yeah, that's a good one.
It's, I think Carminica is that came from the Crucible. Yeah, it's a great color.
Yeah, it's honorable mention to like the solid black one, but that's
Super
a little
black.
sort of like predictable. Yeah. So, but yeah, Carminica.
Very nice. I approve. Not that you need my approval. Number 21. Would you rather, another one, would you like to overthink every decision and get it right 100% of the time, or be impulsive and get it wrong 50% of the time?
Oh, I already overthink every decision. So yeah, let's just
Okay.
double down on that.
All right. Number 22. Time travel or teleportation?
Let's go with teleportation, just because of how much I hate flying, and so it'd be nice to be able to go places without having to deal with airlines.
I could do with both, actually. Yeah. Amazing Taco King says, you may like Sanguines, which is the Bright Dust shop this week. Okay, nice to know. Okay, here's another one. You may not understand this question, but I think you will. Number 23, name a blast from the past.
How about blast processing?
Okay.
From the Sonic the Hedgehog.
Okay, all right. Okay. Number 24, important question. How many tacos can you eat in one sitting?
More than I should, but I mean, probably. I mean, without knowing the size that we're talking about, probably 4 or 5 without sort of too much effort.
What?
Maybe a couple more if I'm really trying to
5?
win an award.
Maybe
or
6,
something.
maybe?
Yeah.
Chet, what about you, man? Tacos in one sitting.
Like you said, more than I probably should. I don't know. I would. It depends on where they're from. If
I
we're
can-
like talking Taco Bell, there's probably
Oh.
more I'm gonna put away than
Yeah.
I am
Yeah.
from like a place that actually.
I was thinking
can
like-
make good tacos.
Yeah,
You
I was thinking like a good regular sized
know, good
taco,
Mexican restaurant.
but like, good
Yeah.
quality, fresh lettuce and tomatoes and stuff in it. I think I
Yeah.
could.
I'd
I
probably
think
be like, to me, if they're loaded, probably like 3 or 4, because if they're done right, I wouldn't have to eat that many of them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
there's this Tex-Mex place that is right next to this chicken finger place that my wife and I go eat a lot. And a lot of times I will go to this Tex-Mex place and get tacos because their tacos are just so good. And what is wrong? Tacos, I could eat tacos every day and I would never get tired of them. They're just so delicious. It's like a full meal in a crispy little tortilla chip. Oh, soft or hard shell tacos? That's not even a question, JD Kent. It's always hard shell.
So,
You want the crunchy.
soft.
What?
Yeah.
No, you want the crunch. That's the technique. That's the difference in what's in the middle and what's outside. It's a crunch. I
one
would
bite, it falls apart completely.
but if you know how to eat a taco correctly, that never happens. You got to keep it in its wrapper.
Oh, okay.
You got to keep it in its wrapper. I'm just
How about
kidding.
like a double decker? You have soft egg
Yeah,
crunch.
I was just gonna say a runner up for me, and I've done this before. Is they like glue them together with like some refried
Layer refried
beans.
beans.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I could do that. Now that would cut me down to probably
Oh,
around
yeah.
8. I could eat a ton of tacos, man. If they're regular sized tacos, like I think I could eat 10 of them. I would not feel good afterwards, but I think I could eat 10. I just
Yeah.
love damn tacos. I'm already hungry now just thinking about it. I'm even sick. Number 25, and you've kind of already answered this. Game-winning score or game-saving stop?
That's tough because, man, I guess the game-winning stop. Although I will give honorable mention. Remember years ago, I got the high score on a Marvel vs. Capcom 2 machine in Las Vegas,
Okay.
and I just wanted to sort of stay there for a while just to watch that leaderboard for a little bit because I
yeah.
knew it was going to be reset soon. It
Nice.
felt good to be at the top of that, even if it was using like the cheesy Iceman tactics, which is like not fair. Yeah, game-winning stop, I guess.
You guys are probably too young to know to answer this question, but when you got a high score on a video game, what were your 3 initials you put in?
RBP, which are my actual initials. I
okay.
wasn't-
Actual initials.
yeah.
You just say I was too young.
Okay, whatever. Moving on.
Dude,
Mine was
I'm not that far
TOD.
behind you.
TOD.
Jesus Christ!
TOD.
Like you think I didn't play in the arcade? Come on,
What
man.
was yours?
Mine was CMH. My
Okay.
initials.
Gotcha. I wanted something that
Or,
would
you
say my
know,
first name.
Or you'd go when you got older. You'd go for something that was probably sounds stupid or
Yeah, a little
spell a cuss word
little
or
snarky.
something like that.
Yeah,
you
oh,
know?
yeah, of course, of
Yeah.
course. Well, Grackle, now you are further known. Thank you for taking our speed run,
Yeah.
sir.
It's
Just
an honor. Thank you, Todd.
want to mention to all of you out there listening or watching, is there a speedrun question that you think we should ask our future guest? If so, let's hear it. Just go to our 2026 speedrun channel and submit your question. At the beginning of 2026, we're going to have 2 drawings for a $25 Amazon gift card, just a way we say thank you for helping add and pad to our list. But what do you have to lose? You can enter more than one if you like as well, but we only take 1 to go into the drawing. So let's hear it. Like I said, 1 entry per member. will go into the drawing, but you can submit as many as you like, and open-ended questions are good too. Like what's your favorite, or anything, what's your favorite, or maybe like we asked two of them tonight, would you rathers? Those are good too. So like I said, just go to the 2026 Speedrun channel in our Discord and enter them in there, and I'll be sure to pin them for next year's Speedrun. Okay, I think it's that time of the night. It's time for This Week in Destiny. Thanks, Grackle. That was
Yeah, that was cool.
that was a great interview, man. Thank you for that.
It was fun. Thank you.
All right, let me get to the TWAB. It's not very heavy. I literally will not take much time on this at all. So, all right, let me get a good drink because my throat's already getting scratchy.
Y'all do that. I'll be right
Get a bow?
back. I gotta go let my dogs out.
Yep,
So,
that's good.
I'll be right back.
There we go. All right, This Week in Destiny for May 15th, 2025. It is less than a month that I'm going to be meeting with some fine people from the UK, part of our European Guardian Downcast live meetup. Less than a month away. I'm getting so excited. I'm getting a little nervous too, but I'm excited. But This Week in Destiny, we've been clashing in heavy metal, while also dwelling into the Rite of Nine. And as we prepare for the next weeks of content, we have some details on topics we want to share with you. Now, I'm just going to go really quickly through this. They did tweet this out, but I want to read it again here. People were a little upset that this week that they still had the same raid as last week in the rotation. People played the Spire last week, and they wanted to play something different this week. But they actually mentioned that they're going to be keeping each of the dungeons for 3 weeks at a time. And people are like, that's just... why, Bungie? Why would you want to, keep us in there? What are you doing, But they did tweet out that they are going to have each I want to say raid, each dungeon on rotation for 2 weeks. All these 3-digit names are in my face. Are trying not to get distracted. But yeah, they are actually going to be adding a lot of more loot drops too, as well. If I know this week they had a quest where you could get one of 3 exotics that you may not have. And I do not have the navigator yet. So I'm definitely going to be getting that, this week before reset. But, they go over the types of modes that there is. We already know about all that stuff, but I just want to let you know that it's only going to be out for 2 weeks and not 3 weeks at a time. Yeah, they talk about the difficulty options. We don't need to go there again. They are telling you to finish your heavy metal. Well, it's already Friday, so that is long gone. Heavy metal is now done as far as or I might have one more night. Yeah, I've got tomorrow night still. So we have one more night of that. So if you haven't finished your challenges in heavy metal, make sure you jump in there and get those done. I went ahead and bought the track and just got the Sparrow and all the stuff with it. They're putting increased Trials of Osiris ranks tomorrow, and the map of choice is Dead Cliffs, and the weapon is Aisha's Care. I will say this, Aisha's Care is a very fun rifle to get. So if you don't have that one in your arsenal yet, it might be a good time to jump into Trials of Osiris this weekend. Dead Cliffs is a tough map, but like I said, with the new way they have trials laid out now, you only have to win 7, period, to go to the lighthouse. You lose.
Scrubs like me can do it.
You lose 5 in between each game that you win, you still go to the lighthouse. So, like I said, you get an adept weapon, can't beat it. Iron Banner is coming next week, starting on May 20th. Iron Banner will be back for another week. Saladin will be at his spot in the tower where he usually is, and he has a new weapon reward for those of you who dare to honor the memory of the Iron Lords. We're talking about the Nature Reclaimed Solar Scout Rifle. There you go. There you go, Grackle. It's a lightweight with some fan favorite perks for both PvE and PvP. You'll be able to focus it once unlocked in collections, so be mindful of how you spend your hard-earned Ingrams and let us know which roles you like the most. And for those of you wondering, the last Iron Banner week of Episode Heresy will be June 17th, so make that count. That's my birthday, June 17th. All right, Hardware Supremacy is in the Rotator next week. It's Supremacy, and if you're not familiar with Hardware, it is a gun game. It is guns only. No abilities. I think you get a jump. No abilities, but no grenades or heavy melees or charge melees or supers or any of that stuff. It's all guns, which I love that kind of stuff. I'll probably play a few matches in that. The Bungie Foundation has some happenings. The Bungie Bounty for Good returns next week with a brand new emblem. Looks really good, by the way. We're calling it on 4 Guardians to join us each match. This is your chance to squad up with the Foundation team, fight for a good cause, and help us rack up wins in style. Think you've got what it takes to bring us down? We welcome the challenge. Whether you're claiming zones, landing headshots by our side, or crashing the party from the other end of the shotgun barrel, victory earns faster than light emblem. With every match you win, lose, or draw, help support our partners at International Community Health Services. So join us on the Bungie Foundation Twitch channel next Thursday at 10 a.m. Pacific time. So mention that. And player support report. Shit's broken, y'all. Kingsley's not here to help you guys. If there's something you're curious about, it's in the Bungie.net, Bungie Weekly Bungie blog. You can find it there. All right, that's it for this week. Let's see if they had an outgoing message here. We love watching players push themselves to the limit, so we have a treat for them this week. Additional Movie of the Week emblems, Beat the Time Above as a team, or complete Spire of the Watcher Ultimatum solo or flawlessly Ultimatum. Holy moly, that's going to be tough. Record yourselves doing it, show it to us, and you'll get the artifacting signal emblem you have until the next TWID goes live. And we're done for today. In the following weeks, we'll have start unfolding some of the changes we've announced in our Edge of Fate reveal stream. So longer articles are coming soon. We always aim to have you well informed of everything that's coming at the same time as we try to try new formats to keep it fresh. We always appreciate the feedback we receive from you. We can do better next time. Pardon our dust. Destiny 2 community team. Thank you, Destiny 2 community team, for communicating with us yet again this week. We do appreciate that. And I guess the info will start to be flowing next week. Next week is our roundtable episode. I have 2 special guests coming next week. So hopefully that won't be too crazy of a twab next week, but we'll just have to see how it goes. All right. It's time to get some questions from our community. We'll be right back. All right. Here's a blast from the past.
Hey, Gator. If I was to send a question for the show, where would I need to go?
Wow, great question, Native. Can't believe you thought of that. You can send us a question for the show in our Discord at discord.gg/Guardian Downcast and enter it in our podcast questions channel. Or they can email us at guardiandowncast@gmail.com, or what I really like are those voicemails. So just go to guardiandowncast.com, that's our website, and hit that send voicemail button at the very top or the very right side of the page. Believe me, you can't miss it.
Wow, Gator. There are so many awesome ways to send questions to the show.
Thanks, Native. It's that easy. So what are you waiting for? If you have a question for the show or just want to make a comment about a past segment, send it our way, and we might read it out or play it live on the show. All the links are down in the episode notes down below. And later, Guardians.
All right, bro. Is that it? Because I'm done. I'm about to be out of here.
Yeah, okay. I'll Venmo you later. It's so much fun making that ad. That was a lot of fun. Hope Native's doing good. I know he's been busy playing a lot of different things. All right. It's that time of our show, ladies and gentlemen, where we get our questions from you guys. And we did have some guest-specific questions tonight, and I'll start with those first. And Tajo Trade chimes in first. He says, are you a fan of birds? If so, do you have a favorite, or is your favorite a grackle? I think we can answer that.
Yeah, well, yes, a fan of. I mean, they're dinosaurs. It's sort of, how cool is that? So
That's true.
yes, a fan of birds generally, and yes, that the grackle is, I for as humble as it is, but other people can have the eagle, hawks, more glamorous, but yeah, grackle would be my bird of choice.
Very nice. Well, Necromancer follows up here. He says, I am actually consider myself to be a birder. Shamefully, I'm always confused a starling for a grackle. There's nothing alike, not even close. What the hell? Any insight? I nearly use Northern Flicker for my handle, by the way. They take sand baths. That's a real bird taking a sand bath. Do you take sand baths? That's what he's asking. Maybe some advice.
I've never taken a sand bath, but it kind of, I mean, if it were at like a spa treatment, it kind of sounds like it might be nice, like sort of a exfoliating kind of experience. I might go for that in the right sort of context. So
okay. He does follow up and say grackles, by the way, are a very handsome bird. Starlings are just showing off. Okay. Question for original Jimmy Rayner says nothing beats a lyre bird. What sound would you try to feed a lyre bird? It's freaking insane. It was what they can do. He puts a video in here. I can't play it. I'll get copyright striked. And Necromancer says that's the same sound that Bungie will be using on their 1200 RPM machine guns. Okay. I like it. We did have a question here from Jimmy Rayner. He says, why do you think does Bungie not want to go down the path of Destiny 3 yet? Maybe Todd and Kingsley have a different opinion now with the current state of Fortnitification and Bungie marathoning their goodwill with the Destiny player base in the ground. I know Kingsley, we both want it, but what is the issue for Bungie to go down that path? You know what? Maybe I'll save that question for next week as well, but I'm curious what you guys think since you won't be here next week.
I mean, I don't think they're going with it because I don't think they've got the team to develop it right now. I really don't.
I think it's a personnel problem.
I think they've got it. Yeah.
Okay.
With Marathon coming out, I just don't think they have it in them to do it.
What do you think, Grackle?
I think that what's kind of become my read on a lot of what Bungie has done, I guess, over the past year or so, is that it seems to be driven not by sort of the more creative-minded people in the studio. Like a lot of it seems very geared towards the revenue, like get it up, make the game profitable. Star Wars. I mean, I'm not gonna sort of poop all over it, in the ways some people will. I think it's a little. When I saw that, I did feel a little bit like you're getting Star Wars in my Destiny. I don't feel like it needs Star Wars. I think Destiny sort of stands pretty well on its own merits with its own lore and its own kind of characters. So, but I mean, there's money to be made in. I mean, I bought the armor for the Warlock and the Stormtrooper. I mean, it's sort of a no-brainer from a dollar standpoint. So when I feel like Destiny 3 to make it Destiny 3, and to actually sort of make it either to not sort of just slap 3 on something and have the gaming community call it out and be like, wait a minute, this is Destiny 2, just you've just renamed it. And I think making it sort of truly a leap in the way that there was a significant, sort of a seismic change from Destiny to Destiny 2, I think it requires sort of creative risks that the studio is just not willing to live with. The current leadership is not willing to live with. And I ultimately, if that's sort of with them, or if that's sort of coming from Sony, or sort of how much of that is we need you to sort of continue to kind of put it, kind of keep the dollars coming in to a certain extent. I'm not sure, but I do feel like there's sort of not the right people in charge who are willing to sort of push the game into enough unfamiliar territory to make it truly sort of a sequel to Destiny 2, which I understand. I mean, there's sort of, I think that there's nothing wrong with Destiny 2, but I do think you're going to end up with what you've seen, which is, there's just a certain segment of the population that has a pretty kind of limitless appetite for Destiny 2, or at least hasn't reached kind of their point at which they're walking away. But there were a lot of people, who once it got to final shape and sort of wrapped it all up, and they're like, I've had enough of this. Um, and so I mean, I do sort of worry about them that like the longer they sort of string Destiny 2 along, I don't think you can really hope for like growing population. So I mean, I think at some point, if you really want to grow the game, if you really want to uh kind of push it beyond where it is, you've got to take a few risks, and you've got to sort of kind of break the game, and or take it into unfamiliar territory. But I don't really think that sort of the current leadership seems kind of up to the task of doing that. So, which is unfortunate, because I think we'd all love to see sort of them really kind of do something bold. But the game's still fun for me, at least, so I'm
Yeah.
not sort of heartbroken about it. But yeah.
I think there's a lot of things that are different now at Bungie that there didn't used to be. Bungie now is wholly owned. They can't make the decisions that they used to be able to make when they were more independent of a studio. And I think Sony has them on a very tight leash right now. Probably a lot of oversight, I'm guessing, probably in the studios, probably a lot of more pressure added up, in the studios as far as getting stuff done on time. And Sony does not going to play around, man. They're a gaming studio, and they're not going to, they really don't want another Concord situation to happen. If it does, I really worry about Bungie as a studio, whether they have just a small little team that still produces content for Destiny 2, but the rest of the studio is either broken apart and uses parts in other parts of other studios, or just gets let go. So that's always a concern. So, but those are where kind of my thoughts are. But I think their back's up against the wall now. I think they realize they got to make a good product. Doesn't mean they're gonna, but Kingsley said this a few shows ago. He says, if they make a Destiny 3, what are they gonna, I mean, he seems to think a Destiny 3 is something they should have done instead of Marathon. But my question is, what they're doing with Edge of Fate is kind of a Destiny 3. They're changing the whole UI. They're changing how you interact with the game. Even the maps and the way the story comes together is going to be more of a Metroidvania type format of game. So I think they're already have kind of gone that route without slapping a Destiny 3 sticker on it. And granted, I know it's not it's not the size of the game that Final Shape was, but I don't know. We're gonna have to just see, I guess, on that part. But that is a good question. Very good question. I think that was who asked that?
Jimmy's question, wasn't it?
Jimmy Rayner? Yeah, yes, that was. Yeah, Jimmy Rayner. Good question. Okay. We do still have our topic of the week, so I want to leave it there. I want to make sure we ask the questions that people left for Grackle. So we're going to move on quickly here and get into our topic of the week. And that's how we're going to end our show this week. So give us 1 second. We'll be right back. All right. I think we can just jump right in here. Here we go. All right, our topic of the week is really kind of loose this week because as we heard, Grand Theft Auto 6 is taking another year before they're going to release it. So that leaves a lot of year left for a lot of studios to try to sell video games. And being that we do have quite a few games coming around the corner here, and since we had RNG Gator and you, Grackle, playing other games as well, I figured this would be a good show to talk about it. So just any game that comes to mind that you guys are wanting or looking forward to playing between now and, let's just say, spring of 2026. Grackle, RNG Gator, just if you don't just throw it out there, we don't have to go in any kind of order here. Just what games are you guys looking forward to playing that are coming down the pike?
Grackle, if you got one.
I first one that comes to mind is Ghost of Yote, which I'm a big Ghost of Tsushima fan. I mean, it's one of those games where, I mean, it was so kind of felt like expertly crafted, very cinematic. I mean, I If it's just more of that, kind of it's already kind of a winner to a certain extent because of how great the first one is. But I know they're just the little that they've released so far. They're clearly trying to do something a little different this time around. To make it its own experience. And so yeah, I think based on Ghost of Tsushima, I have a lot of sort of trust in that developer to sort of kind of show me something new. So I have every reason to think that that'll be, kind of a quality experience. So that's probably maybe the number one game I'm looking forward to sort of by the end of this year to sort of jumping into kind of on launch. So yeah, I'll throw that one out there first as kind of the number one on my 2025 list now that GTA 6 is out of the picture.
Yeah, that and I forgot to mention Ghost of Tsushima is on my list too to play as part of my backlog. I mean, all I play is Destiny, so it's hard to rein in some of those other games and play them. But you have one, RNG Gator. I'm gonna step out for just a second here. I gotta say something to my wife. Go ahead.
I mean, Borderlands 4 would be mine right now. I mean, and then it's just what I find in Game Pass and everything over the rest of the year. I can't remember all what's coming out without going and looking, but right now Borderlands 4 would be the one on my list.
Yeah, I've actually never played a Borderlands game, so if I had to jump in on one, would you recommend
2.
2?
Borderlands 2, I mean, 2 is good. 3 was good, but story just wasn't as great as everybody. 2 is the best one out of the 3 to me, out of 1, 2, and 3. I mean, they do have, if you can ever get it on sale, they have like a, what is it, one that puts all 3 games together. I bought
Mhm.
it for Steam. It was like a Borderlands. They had it on sale at one point for real cheap. It's like an entire, like all 3 games, the pre-sequels, everything together. So there's a lot of games, but yeah, 3 is fun. So I played 1 the other night and beat it, and just playing it and everything was fun. And to go in and jump into 2 and see the leap they made in like from 1 to 2 was just outstanding, like graphic wise, playable wise. It's like it felt like a totally different game, even though I mean, there's some aspects of 1 that like characters show up from the other games. If you didn't play it, you'll be like, "Who is this? What are they here for?" And so, but 2 is my favorite one out of the 3, story wise and everything. And then like all the DLC. I mean, it was very good. I mean, I guess Borderlands 4, and I mean, I know this game's already come out, but Expedition 33, I love
Yeah.
that game. I'm loving. I mean, I've got 48 hours into the game. I haven't put that much time into a game in a long time. You know, um, I mean, the game is just. I love the story of Expedition 33. It's like you start out, you get there, and boom, something happens. You're just like, holy crap! I can't believe that just happened at the beginning of the game. And then you play through Act 1, and you get to the end of Act 1, and boom, something else happens. And you're just like, holy shit! I can't believe that just happened. And you keep playing into Act 2 for Expedition 33, and this new thing gets revealed of who this person is and how they're related to all. It's like,
Yeah.
it's just one of those. Every time you get to a cutscene, you're like, oh, what's going to happen next? Like, what is getting ready to happen? Like, you had this huge battle. What's getting ready to get revealed? You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
So that's in my opinion right now, with GTA 6 being pushed back to next year.
Yeah.
Expedition 33 has a really good chance at being Game of the Year at the Video Game Awards. It's gonna win. It's gonna win some awards. If it's not for music, if it's not for other things, I could see it. Maybe it's going to be a nominee for Game of the Year. If it's not, I'll be pissed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean I've seen the press about it. It's pretty. I mean, just overall glowing. It's gotten incredible reviews.
It was one of those that came out of nowhere. I mean,
Yeah.
it's on Game Pass, and everybody's like, yeah, this is coming out. And then when it came out, it's just like, everybody's like, what are you talking about? And then they get to play it and they're like, holy crap. I've watched so many streamers play it and sit there and they'll be asking questions. I'm so far, I can answer them. And they're like, was this going to happen? I'm not telling you. It's just, I'm like, play the game. I'm not telling you, just play the game. Yeah, because I want to see the reaction when sometimes.
Yeah.
Like I've been watching, I'm like, oh God, they're at that point. Let me watch their reaction, and just their reaction of like, I'm not playing this anymore. I'm pissed off. This happened. Blah blah. I'm like, but they can't put it down. It's like I want to know what happens. You know, you want to see how it ends. So
Yeah, I do know what that game is, Cam. Kingsley's been talking about it. He's been playing it. He says he's pretty much shared the same opinion as RNG Gator. He's really liking it. So
yeah, and I mean, if you like Baldur's Gate, Grackle, it's a turn-based RPG game.
Yeah.
It's a turn-based game. So
nice.
you know.
I'll throw one out here. Well, you talked about Borderlands 4, right? You already mentioned Borderlands 4.
Yes.
September 12th, they moved it up, which I've never ever heard of studio doing, but more guns, tighter graphics. It's probably, like I said earlier, it's going to realistically be my B game. It's going to be my number 2 game when I'm not playing Destiny, Edge of Fate. And just because I'm very comfortable playing that game. In fact, my son, Cam the Jellyman, who's in the chat right now, he's the one who turned me on to Borderlands 1. And then once I played Borderlands 1, it was so much fun. I actually went and played Borderlands 2, and I played that one all the way through, all the characters. And after that, there was really nothing else to do in the game. It didn't really have much of an end game. So I know you can get into higher light and higher power farming of guns and stuff, but the story was the same. It was just repeating the same story. But I'm really looking forward to Borderlands 4. And the reason I'm probably thinking about playing and finishing Borderlands 3 before it comes out, I might start streaming that on Saturdays. But I mean, we have to talk about Edge of Fate, Destiny 2. That's July 12th. I think alone with the new armor and weapon systems in place, plus a new storyline involving the 9, which I'm all in for that ride. The big question is it going to bring back all the past Guardians who quit the game after Final Shape? What do you guys, is that going to bring you back, RNG? Is it going to bring you back, Grackle? RNG says
It's
no.
not gonna bring me back. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't think that it's different enough or sort of innovative enough to bring back anybody that signed off after Final Shape. Although the changes are significant. I think on another Destiny podcast, like I heard somebody referring to it as sort of kind of with the armor, it's kind of like soft sunsetting, kind of your old armor, which is great. I mean, I think there should be more kind of inflection points in the game that force you to sort of get rid of a lot of your older stuff and make you feel like now I've got to start over again. I know that I sort of was there for sunsetting and sort of how how painful that was for the community, and but I do feel like in the long term it probably would have been better if they would have sort of stuck to their guns and been like, nope, gotta throw that stuff out, we're moving on. Because I think it's if you just try to make it all things to all people, it ends up being something usually kind of fairly kind of mediocre. So no, I'll be there, but no, I don't expect like a huge influx of people that checked out.
Yeah. I don't either, because it's not as big as what Final Shape was. It's not the end. It's something new. You go have some people come back, but the people that have been jaded by it or just moved on, I don't see it bringing back. I'm not dropping. What's the price of it? Like $100 to get everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not dropping $100 on that again to play something that I'm probably gonna play for a couple months. And then all of a sudden be like, okay, I've done everything. Good. I'm not gonna get my money's worth out of it like I used to anymore. So,
Yeah, it's a little disappointing that I thought it was disappointing that we didn't leave the system. Like I was really one of the people that was like, okay, the whole point of the Dreadnought thing was like that will be the vessel to take us to pour a bottle, or Reese, or
Like you, yeah,
some
like they, yeah,
yeah, some far off place that they've mentioned in the lore before, that we would finally, like, either now the next season is we're gonna try to like kick the hive off of Tor Bottle, sort of just to get us in a totally different environment. So it's like, okay, we're just going further out beyond Neptune, but still in the solar system. It's like, like I said, I'll play it regardless, but I totally understand people are like, okay, Bungie, like, we're
yeah. I feel like they missed their opportunity there to go somewhere else. I think that still comes down like what I said before. I just don't think they have the team to develop that now, to put the time into it, to develop going to a new solar system. And if they went to a new solar system, like out of what we're in, and not reusing assets we already have, like building stuff new, then that's when you make an announcement for Destiny 3. But you wipe the game. You don't take none of your weapons with you. We're going to a new system, new stuff, new everything. That's the only way you're gonna be able to make Destiny 3. Don't bring the old shit
Yeah.
with it. Just
Yeah.
don't.
The community's
only
very
way.
split. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm not saying it would bring me back, but don't bring the old stuff with you. Let me get new. That was the thing about Borderlands. Borderlands 1, you had certain guns. Borderlands 2, you had new types of guns. 3, you had new types of guns. That's what the chase was. Everybody's like, I want to chase new guns, not, hey, I'm bringing everything with me from Borderlands 1. Whatever I did in Borderlands 1 with my character has nothing to do with what I'm doing in 2.
It's true.
Nothing.
Totally different game.
It picks it up.
Yeah.
It picks up, and characters show up, but like anything I had, I don't bring none of that with me to 2 or 3. So
I mean,
Right.
it'd be great if they could find a way to help the player memorialize certain things, like, just sort of, I think
And that's fine.
I've seen other people talk about like how great it would be if we had our own sort of spaces in the game where like it would show you, like, I think, Gator, you'd mentioned before, like your blast furnace, like, have it on a wall, like, just to remember, like, this was your gun for
Yeah.
like D1, or, and then for D2, like for the Light and Dark Saga, this, this is what got you through it. But like, you can just take, a handful of things with you, but the rest has got to go, and you're starting, we're starting fresh.
I was really hoping they would go that route where you had just a quick go bag. You could just put like, you had a slot of 10 weapons, and they gave you a countdown timer of 5 minutes going down to 0. And then the plane, the ship's leaving, it's gone. That would have been, my God, what a game that would be. I mean, totally different game. But it seems to me like they're going more like a quality of life improvement for the original Destiny 2 game. This will be going on year 8 for Destiny 2. So this is going to be,
I
this
just feel like the engine's getting out of date too. That's
okay.
my thing.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
engine is out. It's lived past its prime.
It's funny though that Marathon is running on that engine with dedicated servers. So I don't know. I'm curious to see how it runs Marathon with the dedicated servers.
I don't have too much hope for Marathon after watching it and everything, the alpha and all that stuff. I never got into it, never got to play it, but what I watched of it, I was bored with it. After like 5 minutes, I was watching somebody else play or go play something else, on Twitch.
To be fair,
didn't do anything for me.
I was a little disappointed with what Marathon was, especially after seeing that the damn music was playing in my head forever. But it wasn't any gameplay. It was just literally like a teaser trailer way long ago.
Yeah,
that really got me excited, saying, "Oh my God, this is going to be the next Crucible game for Bungie. It's just going to go crazy." And then when I saw the reveal of the actual gameplay, I have already mentioned this. I think that Marathon needs to be delayed. I think they need to let it cook a little longer. I think they need to add some quality of life stuff. Maybe even look at Arc Raiders. Look and see what they added in, because Arc Raiders seem to be much more, their systems just seem to be much more fun. And I don't know, it just seemed like I got excited to play Arc Raiders when I was watching that stream. I did not get excited to play Marathon when I watched the mini streams. But I will say this, I haven't fully played it. If there is a beta coming out, I'll definitely play it and then make my decision then. But I don't want to pull the trigger and say, no, I'm not going to play Marathon, because I am a Crucible player and I realize the game's not probably for us, but I still want to give it a fair shot before we do anything on it. Um, so, and any other games you guys are want to throw out there that you're looking forward to playing this year, toward the end of the year, or first of next year?
Not that I can think of.
I mean, there's some stuff that's already come out that I haven't yet played.
I have a
that,
backlog too. Yeah.
Yeah, so like I'm a big fan of the Civilization series. I haven't yet played Civilization 7.
Right.
I saw, I didn't pre-order it, and I sort of for good reasons, and then I saw it was sort of a mess I think when it came out, and they've been patching it ever since. So it seems like it's finally getting to a point where they fixed a lot of the UI and like sort of elements that people really hated when it came out, which is how it always is with Civilization. Like it comes
Yeah.
out, it's terrible, and then they iterate on it, it gets better.
It's the
But I
add-on
do want to
stuff.
play that
Yep.
soon. And then I have it on my PlayStation, but I haven't yet played Blueprints, which I heard like a lot of people were like, this, you wouldn't think so, but this game is awesome. It's a lot of fun. So it's like, oh, okay, I should try that at a certain point to see if it's everything it's cracked up to be. And currently, I guess I'm one of the lucky few, it seems like, who was able to get a Switch 2 pre-order. So I am looking forward to playing like the new Mario Kart, which should be interesting what they have in store for that. And they say it's an $80 experience, and so I'll be so eager to see if it actually is. And then like all the other sort of walled garden stuff that Nintendo does with like Donkey Kong. And I mean, I don't know if it'll come out. I've kind of got my fingers crossed that they're going to sort of surprise everybody with like a surprise, you're going to want to buy the new Mario game for Christmas, 2025 at some point in the fall. Maybe they won't, but yeah, I'm sort of like interested to see what else they have in store for Switch 2 for sort of the rest of the year, to kind of put up a nice sort of like holiday season. You want to buy all these games for this new system approach. So yeah, that's what's on my mind for the rest of the year at least.
Yeah. Amazing Taco King asking
Speaking of,
in the chat, he says, are you guys going to play the new FromSoft Switch 2 game? You know
I'm
about
not
this?
getting a Switch 2, so
Okay.
Uh,
No.
I mean, I know about it. I actually like, I missed out on Bloodborne, and I'm not I find like I have Elden Ring. I played it. I find it kind of painful. Like I'd sort of
yeah.
I I didn't really sort of enjoy it. I respect it. Like I kind of appreciate like why people love it so much. But yeah, I mean, I guess I'd be curious to try it maybe, but it's not. I'm not as excited about it as I know like the sort of Bloodborne community and people that were sort of waiting for that sequel, or a remaster, or something. I do feel for them that they were like sort of completely shut out, and like here's this game on a totally different system. So
Yeah. You were going to say something, Chet.
But have you heard the thing about if you mod the console, they can brick your Switch too? Have you heard that?
no, I haven't heard that.
Yeah, they announced that this week. So if you mod or do anything, hack or mod your console in any way, Nintendo can brick your console, and people are pissed about that because they're like, "I bought this," and Nintendo's like, we're giving you like the license to play these games.
No one owns games
So
anymore.
we can brick your console, and you got to it before I could. They're saying that like the physical games you get most of the time, you remember the cartridges had the game on it. All that cartridges now is a license key to play the game you bought, and people are pissed about that because now you're paying $80 for
A license.
for the new Mario Kart, and you getting a physical copy of, but all that is a way to get the key. You're not owning the game. People are mad about, like, I'm like, Nintendo, I was like, I hope everybody loves the Switch 2. I hope it's great. But I'm like, every time you turn around, it's like, Nintendo, your marketing department or whoever's in charge of this, y'all, I mean, Jesus Christ, what happened here? Like, I don't know. I just read more and more. I mean, my son wants a Switch too and everything. I never really have been a big Nintendo fan since when I was little growing up. As I've gotten older, this Nintendo's to me is just not my types of games, So
Just got a
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt. We just got a raid from Mr. Elmer Fudd Games. How you doing, buddy? Got raided on Twitch from his stream. Hope everything's well. Welcome, everybody.
Nice.
Just at the end of our podcast here. We're talking about upcoming games for the almost the full next year. So thank you, Fudd. Love you, buddy. Go ahead, Grackle. I'm sorry. You were going to add a comment to that.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say it's funny to me sort of what Nintendo's sort of business strategy. I mean, it's infuriating, but I mean, you can't. It's completely understandable because I mean they've sort of worked themselves into this position where like they just have their stable of IP. They have Mario, they have Zelda, Donkey Kong, and they're just like, you want to play these games, like you got to. These are the rules, And it's just interesting the ways in which, sort of for for us, like gamers of a certain age that lived through like the console wars and the Sony, the Nintendo versus Sega, and then Sony coming in, and now watching Xbox just kind of, I don't know, like what, like they just like, I don't know why they bother making hardware at this point when they seem to
Yeah.
sort of, they're like raising the prices on like their old hardware and then just saying, who cares? Your TV is an Xbox. Your phone is an Xbox. We're just going to release all the games on, PlayStation anyway, like play Gears of War, Halo there.
It's almost that easy. I mean, once cloud streaming gets really, I don't know. I think when cloud streaming finally reaches the point where, the infrastructure's in place, internet wise for the United States, at least I'm speaking for here. I can't speak for the other countries out there. I think the consoles will be going away. I think it'll be, because I can go right now, pair a Bluetooth controller to my TV, my big screen in there, and immediately play any games I want. I could just download them right into the TV. I don't know how much storage that TV has, but it's got to store, I'm sure, a little bit of RAM because it's streaming ahead of time. But I don't know, just something to think about. But do you have anything else to add on that, Grackle?
Yeah, I mean, it's just they're just very sort of upfront about this is a very bespoke experience. Like we've created, created and curated this whole thing for you, and we're gonna set the rules and we're gonna it's just sort of no shame about it, which is fine, I guess. Like I think I'm getting one, primarily for my kids. I mean, it is sort of still a great. They love their Switch. It's sort of a great kind of environment for them to, game and kind of get into gaming and do their stuff. And I enjoyed like Super Mario Wonder, and it's sort of a nice kind of thing to do from time to time. But yeah, I do kind of hate the fact that it's the ways in which they like, actively like, really aggressively kind of undermine a lot of good faith efforts. Like when you think about sort of people that try to just create mods, like not for profit, like just people who love their games and like want to try to enhance the experience, and like Nintendo will just like shut it down. Like, no, like, we don't own that. We didn't authorize that, I mean, that's a real bummer. So I think, yeah, the Switch 2 is probably going to be more of that, kind of aggressive, this is a walled garden approach. But at the same time, they do make some pretty fun stuff. So it's sort of like, we'll see how long kind of that balance sort of slightly tilts in their favor. But
meanwhile,
yeah,
Xbox, you can play everywhere. The
yeah,
Xbox is saying, hold my beer. We're going to go everywhere. We're going wide. Yeah, it is. I had a couple more games I wanted to mention, but
their Xbox is positioning themselves to not have consoles anymore. That's what it's coming down to.
Well, they lost the console war anyway, so they didn't have anything to lose. But sorry, not throwing shade at Xbox. I own 2 of them in here, but they really didn't make any games for their consoles. There was nothing exclusive about them, which is maybe that's the reason they're going the way they are. But I won't go down that path. Gator. Yeah, it's another topic.
What's the other games?
Are anybody going to play Dune Awakening coming out on June 10th? Dune Awakening, the new Dune game. That looked really interesting. I saw some people streaming the test stream on it, the alpha, I think, on it last week, and it looked really good. It looked like a really good game. And I'm a Dune fan.
I'll be totally honest. I'm not a Dune fan. I've never seen the second movie, and the first one I can't get through without falling asleep. So
Yeah, yeah.
I will be honest. I just can't. It's not that. I can't just get into it. I've tried. I just can't.
Yeah, Stadia was ahead of their time, weren't they, Necromancer? Hello, Jealous Gaming. I see you out there, buddy. How you doing? The one game I wanted to mention, and I saw the test stream to this, and I mentioned it earlier already, and that's Arc Raiders. That game looked like a lot of fun. It looks very detailed, and yes, it is exactly like Marathon, except in a third-person view. I think it's a little more realistic looking, but from what I saw in Arc Raiders, I was getting excited to play it. I don't know about you guys. I don't know if you saw the streams on it or not, but the systems and everything, it's just right up my alley, man. I love collecting resources and building and crafting stuff, and those PvE enemies, those bots, those they call them Arc. I guess the Arc class. It's like all these automated bots that are on the surface of the earth. They look really tough to control, and you almost didn't want to kill the other players because you needed their help to take down those damn arcs, whatever they call them, arc bots or whatever. So that game, they have not mentioned when it's coming out. At least I haven't seen anything in the news yet for it. I'm guessing summer or fall of 2025 is my guess, because the game looked done. When I watched that alpha, it looked finished. It looked like a really crisp game. It looked like you could release it tomorrow and I'd be ready to go. I'd be ready to play it. So, that's a good news. Amazing Taco King says there's a marathon stream tomorrow for the alpha feedback and news going forward. Okay, thank you for that, Amazing Taco King. Didn't know that. Nice to know. Like I said, I am going to try Marathon if the beta comes out. I don't know if I'm going to be buying the game, but I'm going to at least give it a shot. And Amazing Taco King mentioned this in the chat, but Elden Ring Night Ring, May 30th is when it still comes. I still need to finish the original game. I'm not there yet, but if it's anything like the original game that came out, I could really get into this game. The only thing, here's the difference. This is the reason I can't get into hack and slash games as much, is because I know when you play, what's the game from FromSoft? The Elden Ring. Sorry, it is Elden Ring. The original Elden Ring, the thing that I didn't have the patience for is knowing when to time your attacks. When the boss, lunged forward, you had to know how to time that. And it was just a matter of just getting your reps down to know how to time it before you could finally kill the boss. Some of those bosses were so hard, like the knight the knight that would go around on the first map, the beginner map, the very first area you're in.
Yeah.
That guy would chase you down and just slice and dice you. And I was intimidated, but I was like, hell yeah, that's fun. That looks challenging. That looks fun. So I need to have better armor. I need to upgrade a few things before I come back and fight them. But Night Rain is their follow-up. It's kind of like their next. It's like their Destiny 2 of Elden Ring, and I'm really curious to see what they do with that game. Yeah, I need some help. My son and I started playing Elden Ring, and we both fell out because guess what pulled me away? Any guesses? Yeah.
Destiny.
Destiny 2.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have one final game. Did you guys have any other games you want to mention? I want to count you out.
No.
No, good.
This game has not been officially announced yet, but it goes to my roots of my shooter games out there. Battlefield 6. They're saying it's going to be here before. They're saying
I thought it was next year.
They're saying before April 2026, because EA just had their earnings call, and they already mentioned that they will be releasing this new Battlefield game. And I know what you're saying. I started a whole podcast on 2042. I was such a Battlefield nut. But boy, that game was not what I played in the past. They were trying to make classes like Destiny does. They had all these cosmetic crappy things, and I like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 where you got your gun, it was plain Jane, you didn't even have a decent stock on it, and then by getting kills on it, you started adding attachments to it. And finally, my goal whenever I played Battlefield was to fully deck out each gun, and I would not play any other guns. You know, I'd start with my carbines, and then I'd go with my assault rifles. Then I mean, my AN-92, I still love. If I'd played today, jumped in there, that's the first thing I'd grab. But you would get scopes like the FLIR scope where you could look through smoke and see bodies and hallways where people are chucking smoke and stuff. You could just get headshots on people because they never knew you could see them. Man, I have so many good memories of Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4. And from what I heard, Battlefield 6 is going to be coming back honoring the Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 type of game. And if that is what they do, and they've had a lot of leaks on YouTube, play testing all this stuff, it looks, people have really been impressed with how this game looks. So that may be my number 3 game or my number 2 game by the time it comes around, because I'll probably finish with Borderlands 4 by then. But that is the game I'm really looking forward to. The fact that Respawn is taking the reins and is taking over, and DICE is kind of out of the picture now. I'm really curious to see if they actually make a true Battlefield game that's not glitchy and has all kinds of game breaking problems in it. That is so. All our Battlefield players out there, we are such diehard players because you could play a whole game of it's like Control, where you capture flags, and Conquest, and we play it for a whole hour. And when we were done playing, we were like, oh man, wasn't that great when we went up the hill we didn't flank them? That was such a good move, flanking them over here. And it just was so realistic. You felt like you were right in the battle. I mean, things are blowing up around you. You're running around it, and it's just so engrossing. I really miss those days. One thing I did want to throw out there, I just was looking on the internet and found this out. This is, I think, going to be on Steam or PS5. Gradius. Has anyone ever played Gradius back in the day? I loved Gradius. Yeah. I played
Shoot 'em up game.
Yeah, it's a side scroller shooter, like Defender.
I remember that.
And I really miss this game. And there's a Gradius Origins coming out on August 7th. I used to play a ton of this, and it does come out for PS5. Might be a good game to jump in, say I got a couple hours or maybe an hour before I jump out to work. This is another game that I'm considering getting for my PS5. We'll just have to see. But I'm not a really big, you guys probably figured out, I mean, I only play Destiny, but I'm really trying to expand my horizons this year. Mainly, I tell you the main reason why, I don't want to get burnt out on Destiny 2. I don't want to get burnt out. When I jump in and play Destiny 2, I want it to feel fresh. And I think the reason why a lot of us have gotten kind of Destiny fatigue is the fact that it's our only game that we play. Destiny and Bungie has their grip on us, and it's hard for us to get away from it when they offer so many enticing things every week that keep us logging in and playing. So I'm really hoping that I can play other games, and I'll just have to schedule it. Just the only way I can think about it. But yeah, Zombie Pops, Gradius 3, just amazing graphics, and it only gets better and better. And it brings back all the nostalgia for me, man, of all those hours and hours. I put tons of money in those games in the arcade playing that game. So a lot of good memories there. Well, that is the show, guys. We appreciate everyone that came out tonight. Topic of the week, I didn't want to get too crazy. I just wanted to mention and throw some stuff out there that we're all considering playing other than the Destiny game. And I just appreciate everyone that came out there. Thank you, Mr. Elmer Fudd Games, for the raid. Appreciate that. JD Kent, thank you for gifting a sub on Twitch. I see that. Thank you, sir. Just really great community. And whatever happens to Destiny, I really don't plan on shutting down our community, because there's so many good things that have come out of this Discord. And, if we have to pivot, we'll pivot, or maybe we'll do Destiny and something else. But I really don't have any plans to, however Bungie turns out this summer, win, lose, or draw, I'm still all in. So just thank everyone that comes out. I really appreciate everyone that came out tonight. I love talking with you guys in the chat. I want to thank you, RNG Gator, for coming back and filling in for Kingsley tonight. He had plans already, and It almost didn't happen tonight, guys. I mean, I am just loaded up on sinus medication right now. If you saw me this morning or even at lunchtime today, I literally was on the couch where I could not move my head because I had such vertigo. I was so dizzy today, and I'm trying to figure out how the hell am I going to pull this show off tonight. But I took a Bonine, which is like a motion sickness medicine, and somehow I just snapped right out of it. So I am still under the weather, so I appreciate you guys bearing with me tonight. But Grackle, thanks for coming on the show tonight, brother. I appreciate you. And how can people get a hold of you if they want to send you a friend request in game or just shoot you an invite or talk to you in the Discord?
Yeah, I think Discord is probably the best way for now. I don't have a brand to promote at the moment. I will certainly let you know if it should change. But yeah, just find me on Discord, and I've had across the board great experiences with everybody I've met and played with through the community. So happy to field any and all requests, and yeah, looking forward to many more great dungeons, raids, just whatever with anybody who wants to reach out. So yeah, look for me here.
Thanks, Grackle. Sorry it took 4 years to get you on the show, man.
Yeah.
I think what happened, I had you lined up on the show years ago, and then you were on a Guardian Hub, and I'm like, well, I mean, Guardian Hub just like our sister community. I said, maybe we just wait a little while, and then of course time flies by, and you just tend to forget things. So I appreciate you agreeing to come on tonight, man. That was a lot of fun.
Better late than never. Yeah, happy to be here.
I hear you, man. Well, again, thanks for being a part of our community for so many years, man. We appreciate you. And RNG Gator, again, thank you, brother. Thanks, Chet, for coming on tonight and filling in. And
No problem.
spreading your Destiny hate. No, I'm just kidding. I don't care. But appreciate you guys.
Ain't no hate for it. It's just no. There ain't no hate for it. I just don't have the feeling to play it anymore.
Oh, I did want to mention, I had a couple of announcements real quick here. Next week is our roundtable episode. It'll be on Friday instead of Thursday. Just want to make sure you know. Friday instead of Thursday. We have two old friends and community members joining us next week. Kingsley will be back with his topic as well. We're going to have 4 new topics to talk about around the roundtable. Once a month, we do a non-Destiny podcast, or we can talk about Destiny if that's what someone wants to talk about, but it is a roundtable about gaming. And we bring in 4 topics, usually news or something that's in the news as far as gaming or anything around our hobby, and we discuss it. Someone brings a story to the table, they mention their story, and then we go around the table and give everyone's feedback on it. Pretty simple show, but we always have some really memorable shows anytime we do that. So just want to give you guys a heads up. It's going to be next Friday instead of Thursday. The same time, it'll be 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, and I'm really looking forward to that. Thanks to our patrons also, we've upgraded our Charlemagne bot in our Discord. It helps organize our clan channel, and it automatically assigns roles so that more of you can find clanmates in our Discord server. I know a lot of you guys, especially in GDC2, like to talk on the app, but a lot of us don't. A lot of us are talking in the Discord, and this way, by upgrading this bot in our Discord, we're able to automatically assign roles, and just makes management of the community a lot better. So thank you, patrons, for that. We appreciate you in that regard. Just added that this week. So Kingsley has been hard at work getting all that put into work and getting all the little systematic improvements done. Stuff you probably don't even feel, but definitely adds a lot better organization, especially if you're trying to group up with fellow clanmates and get some games in. So just want to mention that. Oh, before we go, Uncle Scumdeath left us a question for the show, and I haven't listened to it or heard it yet, but I have it loaded in the soundboard here. So let me go ahead and pull it up here, and I'm going to play it. Here we go.
Hello, it's your Uncle Scumdeath here. Question for the show. If you're not feeling great, you're feeling a little bit down and all that, things are a little bit rubbish at the minute. Is there a band out there that you go to sort of get you out of that mood, maybe? Like, mine's quite embarrassing. Mine is a 80s hair metal band called Europe. They're not the most fashionable band in the world, but oh my God, some of their songs are absolutely. They've got songs for every emotion, I'll tell you. So that is my go-to emotional band. So I would like to hear yours. So yeah, question for the show: what is the band that gets you riled up out of how do I say it? Gets you feeling the feels. Let's say that. Yeah. Oh, right. Well, I'm going to send this. This has taken me out 15 takes. Right. Love ya. Bye.
Thank you, Uncle Scumdeath. You guys probably don't know Uncle Scumdeath is having some health issues in his family, and I'm sure he's trying to deal with that. So that probably relates to his question. You guys have any music you would recommend as far as getting them in maybe out of the dumps, or maybe a song that kind of grips your heart, makes you feel things? I'll start. I mean, I'm a very strong proponent that music is medicine. And like I said, I'm really sorry you're hurting right now, Uncle Scumdeath. I did write down a few songs that you can check out, and I'm going to put the links in our show notes in our podcast if you want to access them, Uncle Scumdeath, and if you guys want to access them as well. Some of these are in our playlist, in fact. This song is kind of haunting, but it's beautiful at the same time. When I need kind of a perspective in life, this is my go-to. Mad World by Gary Jules. Now, you guys know the song Mad World, I'm sure. But that is one that, oh my God, just really, if you're having a tough time in life, it really brings things into perspective. So, I bought you guys some time. You guys got any songs? We're going to add some music before we go. I haven't forgotten. But Amazing Taco King, Bullet for My Valentine, and A7X for me. Okay. Grackle? RNG Gator?
I was going to say, RNG, do you want to go? Or
If you got something, Grackle, I don't have it. I can't, nothing in my head will come up right now, you know.
yeah.
I mean, I have them, but it's almost ones that they hit me when I hear them, and I can't remember them right. It's like right off the top of my head, I can't remember them.
And I have I just have a lot of different songs for a lot of different feels, so it's sort of hard to give a
Yeah.
single answer. The first thing that came to mind actually when I was listening to Scum Death talk was when I feel like, I don't know, I need to kind of lighten up, or sort of not take things so seriously, or to kind of, maybe reset a little bit. Uh, the first song that comes to mind is Zunga 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 Zang by Yellow Man, which is like a very chill, like, 80s reggae. And I'm not a huge reggae person. I mean, I had Bob Marley's greatest hits like everybody else, but like that was the extent of my reggae exposure growing up. But it's just like a stream of consciousness, like, kind of flow, that it's one of those things where if it was spontaneous, it's pure genius. And if it was written out, it's still pretty genius. And so, but yeah, I hear it, and I just, like, I can't, if I was stressed about something at the beginning of the song, I've kind of forgotten what it was, what that was by sort of halfway through. And so yeah, so I always have that one in my pocket. I have it on my playlist when I go for a long run. It's usually like time to hit like right about the middle of my distance. So if I'm feeling it somewhere in my legs or my chest, it's like, oh, okay, now it's sort of disappeared a little bit. But no, other than that, I would say if it's like a hard time, Jeff Buckley's good too. Just like all
Yeah.
of his stuff is very
Very good.
kind of, very sort of soulful and delivered with a lot of virtuosity, sort of vocally, instrumentally, a lot of heart. And yeah, that's
Okay.
that's what's top of mind there.
I've another song I was thinking about is when I'm frustrated and I kind of need a song that kind of gets me. Radiohead is ideal. In fact, listen to the entire Kid A album, and you can just grab a beer or other things you want to imbibe in, and just sit back and put some earbuds in. The one that comes to mind, I think, would be Optimistic by Radiohead. It's off the Kid A album. Now, I know, Uncle Scumdeath, you're an 80s kid like me, and I know you like Europe. Europe's a good song, I get it. But I'm a big fan of Styx. and especially Tommy Shaw. And there's a song on, I think it's Pieces of Eight. It's called Man in the Wilderness. And Tommy Shaw wrote this song about his disillusionment while touring on the road so many years. And he's been doing it a long time. They're still out there touring. It's all about kind of finding himself lost in the wilderness and not knowing where to go. Not to mention, there's a great guitar solo in it from him. I really love this guy. I really love this band. So Lost in the Man in the Wilderness by Styx. I think it's Pieces of Eight. I believe is the album on that. It's back in the, it's back there a ways, but if you're a child of the 80s, Uncle Scumdat, that's a great song. So, well, speaking of which, Elmer Fudd, take it away.
Oh, listen to the Guardian Downcast. Oh, it's a playlist. Yes, yes. Oh, and I've heard they've like won awards for it and such.
All right, this is the time of our show where we add music to our Guardian Downcast show playlist. We have links on Spotify and Apple Music. And like I said, hit those links if you want to follow along and see what we've been adding. We have 1,236 songs on this playlist. It's representing all of us, all of our past guests. It's very much a time capsule of our entire show. It's kind of why I still like doing it. And so, yeah, I'm going to ask you first, Grackle, what song did you choose for tonight to add to the playlist and why, sir?
Yeah, this was tough. Almost went in a number of different directions. Honorable mention, I almost put Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter on here instead.
Oh, yeah,
but,
that's a good song.
but it's a good one.
It's popular.
But no, I went with Oh Shadowless by Nico Case. Nico Case is, it's like it's got to be like close to 20 years ago I first sort of heard about her sort of relatively early on in she was still sort of rising through kind of alt country kind of Americana circles.
Mm-hmm.
And I just always blown away by kind of the I've seen her live multiple times, and just somebody who sort of, their voice is their instrument in addition to the instruments that she actually plays, and somebody who has sort of complete command of it. This song is, she had a sort of a retrospective album that came out a couple years ago, and this was like the original track that was tacked on to the end. And I feel like her last couple of albums were a little uneven from my sort of point of view, but yeah, the sort of, this I felt was kind of a I don't know, sort of like a classic, sort of track for her. And I think to get to the point we just had a minute ago, sort of a very kind of melancholic, sort of laid back, if you just need to sort of fill your headspace with something to kind of take your mind off your troubles, or sort of put you in a different mood than the one that you currently find yourself in. When I first heard it, I thought like, wow, this is this does that, and sort of is still unlike a lot of kind of what you hear on the radio and in other places. So yeah, definitely got a lot of heavy rotation in my playlist. So yeah,
okay.
Thought I'd add to the playlist.
Very nice. RNG Gator, what are you adding, sir?
I am going to add the song called Heaven on My Mind by Toby Mac and Forrest Frank. I found Forrest Frank through just Spotify, and my wife and them, or just through Spotify. I'd heard him a couple times with some other singers, and then I searched him out, and he's got a lot of good, Christian songs and everything. And then this song just came out. It was on Toby Mac's new album. I think Forrest's also, and they collabed together. It's really got a good beat to it. It's just one of those songs you can't listen to and just not feel happy from listening to it. It's going to put you in that mood no matter what I'm feeling. It's just that type of song. I love it. It's just one of those, you put it out. I've requested it in some Twitch streams. I've watched where they have song requests, and you'll get people who have heard it, and they're, it'll spark a whole conversation, just from that song. So I like that.
Very cool. Thank you, sir. Let's see, because sorry, get my voice back here. because I am going to the meetup very soon in the UK. I'm of course finishing off my trip with an outdoor concert from a band that I absolutely love. I figured I'd add another song to their playlist tonight from them. This is their 10th studio album it's from, and then it was released in 2024, just last year. It's my favorite album from them right now. The very first song on the album is called Things I've Been Telling Myself for Years. It's all about loneliness, self-deception, kind of the struggle, you know, with us changing our perspective or actions to kind of fit in with the social norms out there, despite what our voice inside is telling us. It's still one of my favorite songs in the album, which is the album is titled Audio Vertigo. We currently have 5 songs from their past albums in the playlist, but I think this is time for a 6th. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to meeting everyone out in the UK in about less than a month now. And we even have someone flying from Canada to the UK to meet up with us. So I'm not nervous at all. But anyway, that would be the song I'll be adding this time around. So, all right, that is our show. Almost forgot half the stuff we were going to do still. That is our show for tonight, guys. Thank you for hanging out in the Discord. Thank you for hanging out on Twitch and YouTube. Thank you, Grackle, for being on the show. Thank you, RNG Gator, for filling in for Kingsley. I'll see you guys in the Discord. Later, Guardians.
Bye.